live.
We're live. Welcome to the powerful Komiksman podcast. Okay, so it's another day. We are back podcasting, and this is live, obviously. And I just want to remind everyone to ask everyone who's watching. Wala pang nanonood yata, pero pero if you're watching, please like the page and share to your friends, to your wall, and also comment. And you can ask me and my guests, especially about anything. I'm sure madami tayong interesting things na mapag-uusapan. And yeah, so this is a very special episode. And of course, it is brought to you by my sponsor, Miucha Lux Cakes. So, yan. And also, mamaya, more on that later. What else? Check out the Komiksman YouTube channel because walang pumupunta doon. as in hanggang ngayon 100 subscribers pa rin siya, 101. So we'll get there. It's just nakakaano eh. Kung inaayos mo tong Facebook, ang hirap na isabay yung YouTube for some reason. Basta ano siya. And then pero hopefully it picks up. And also, like I said, like and share and also follow at Komiksman in Instagram and Twitter. Twitter, hindi ko ginagamit. Instagram, barely. But, yun lang. Yun. Right now, I'm gonna introduce to you my very special guest. He was a collaborator of mine in one of my projects, and it was an awesome project na hindi ko inakalang mangyayari. And so that's it. Without further ado, Mr. John Herrera.
Hello, everyone.
Britain's top designer.
Nax. Thank
Diba?
you for tuning in.
Yes.
I don't believe my own hype, so
Oo nga eh, diba? So,
yeah, we're very lucky, very lucky. But so to everyone who's watching, thank you for tuning in, and please stay with us. Just stay with us. We're gonna have a lot of fun together, and no holds barred. You can ask us about anything, and I promise na I will answer them ng hindi showbiz. I will answer them
Yes.
truthfully and politically incorrect. As politically incorrect as possible. So, and okay, before anything else, I would like to thank our host, my host today, Gerald. Thank you for everything. What a lot of people don't know is that our collection called the Aguila, which was a collaboration with Epson Philippines and Epson Southeast Asia, wouldn't have been possible without the brilliant and talent of Gerald, who did all the magnificent illustrations. When I met Gerald, it was close to the competition already, which was Britain's top designer, and I didn't know what to do because I've been turned down by every digital artist that I came to talk to and wanted to collaborate with, because it was supposed to be an original print fabric that we're supposed to do. So Gerald was kind enough to engage and get on board with the project. And at the time, we didn't know if joining Britain's top designer would bring the collection or myself anything, because it was a competition. I mean, I was up against 5 other amazing British designers, and if they're listening to this now, hello guys.
Yeah. So these are the
yes,
the
what you're
designs
seeing
that-
now are those are, especially zoomed like that, you can see the brilliant art of Gerald. He's the one who illustrated everything, because I couldn't possibly do anything with a computer, even if it will save my life. All I can do is code. So yeah, that's exactly what happened with our collaboration. I was making the clothes, and he was designing the prints.
Oo nga eh. So when you approached me,
And I didn't have a lot of money. I should have brought him with me to London, but I didn't have money.
so that particular project, ano siya eh, when I was doing that, parang ano ba tong ginagawa ko? Parang kasi I drew the eagle separately,
Separately?
as complete.
Yes.
Complete siya. Tapos you arranged them in such a way na parang kaleidoscope.
Yes, so
yung
basically
dating,
there are, if you don't know guys, there are 10 eagle images there. And then, so the first thing Gerald did was to render every eagle image separately. And then hit me back with them through email. At this point, hindi kami nakikita in person, Hindi pa kami nakikita in person.
Yeah.
We're just emailing each other. We're not even Facebook friends yet at the time. And then he would hit me back with the images, the 10 images, which he illustrated wonderfully. And then I put numbers on them. And then after putting numbers, I sent you a terrible sketch of a layout on a tissue paper.
Tissue paper.
Do you remember
tissue
that?
paper ba yan? Yeah, I saw the
It
image.
was a tissue paper na I took a screenshot because the idea came to me at a restaurant.
Ah.
The restaurant. I think a fast food maybe even. But yeah, it came to me. And then all I had at the time was a pen, which I borrowed from the waiter, and tissue. So I drew it on a tissue and then put all the numbers there and then sent them back to Gerald, and he's the one who made sense of it all.
Yeah, well, I'm used to those kinds of thumbnails. Kasi that's what I do all the time.
Okay.
So the client's gonna send stick drawings, and then usually you develop this ability to somehow decipher what that means. Even the emotion of just a little bit of parang smile na line, parang you can determine how happy that character is supposed to be.
I was very lucky that the person I talked to was an artist. Kasi a couple of people I talked to didn't actually know what I was trying to achieve. When I met you, I told you I was on the brink of insanity.
Okay.
Kasi malapit na. It was 2 months before the show. And I agreed with Epson on this thing, and then the idea was they're paying for the London joining fee, and then there were 2 shows kasi in London at the time.
Okay.
When we were talking with Epson, ang alam lang nila it was for Fashion Scout. Fashion Scout. And then last minute ko decide na mag-join sa Britain's Top Designer.
Okay.
At the time kasi it was so hard to get in, so I didn't know if I was gonna be if I was gonna be accepted or not. Kasi hundreds of designers, most of them fresh grads, we all sent our sketches, we all sent our entries, and we didn't know if we were gonna get in. None of us knew, and there were only 6 slots.
So paano yun? So you were selected by Britain's Top Designer?
I saw a friend of mine, a model friend of mine, Karis Moss. Hello, Karis, if you're watching, and your wonderful mom, Karen. If you guys are watching, so they were the ones who told me that they did a model casting for a producer called Fashion's Finest, and they organized annually this thing called Britain's Top Designer.
Okay.
And they told me it's hard to get into, but we can back you up as if that's gonna help. You know, because at the end of the day, it's the producer. No, they're
okay. They're British.
They've been my friends since 2015.
Yes, it's worth noting that you are London-based talaga, diba?
I wouldn't say London-based. I think it's more of the brand now is parang may dalawa siyang home. Meron siyang London home, meron siyang Manila home. But I would say na I'm still based in the Philippines because I spend more time here than in London. I just go to London every 6 months, which is every season, to show the collection, to engage the stores, to check sales, and also meet a couple of brides kasi I've been gaining traction sa bridal community, Filipino bridal community now. So in London, and yeah, it's a coexistence pa for the brand. I have I have no intention of living in London because right now we have a staff of 25.
Okay.
And I'm more productive when I'm in the workroom. Some people think na, a designer's life is more glamour than work, but it's actually more hard work, especially if you're like me who makes my own patterns.
Yeah.
And I know how to sew, I know how to embroider, I know how to bead. So and I'm sure you know this.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your last show, and you're only as good as your. I mean, you're only what do you call this? Your only value in yourself as a person is when you're creating, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, it helps
even
a
if
lot.
you tell me na you're gonna live in London, but where's my workroom? I need a workroom. Kailangan ko ng workroom. I need a place where I can create stuff. So until siguro I find that, I'll stay here. Especially because ang dami na namin ngayon in my workroom. We get so much done.
You can just leave them. Diba?
Yeah, and we get so much done. And even if I'm not here, although they can make clothes, medyo magiging generic yung clothes if a designer is not there to actually supervise. And
let's go back to your story kanina. So there's a scout basically, and what do you call this? Is it an audition? Is it what?
Fashion Scout, I've worked hard to get into that kasi may sarili din siyang audition. But it's more of a showcase.
Okay.
Fashion Scout is where they call it Fashion Pioneers. Fashion Scout is an organization, the only organization outside of London Fashion Week, which is sponsored and produced by the British Fashion Council. It's the only off Fashion Week, London Fashion Week showcase that publications like Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Glam UK, basically it's like the mini Fashion Week. Kasi that's where the new talent come from. Basically, if you become a big brand, you can afford to join Fashion Week.
Fashion Week.
To tell you how much it would, kasi it's really a business, no? I mean, to show in London Fashion Week, siguro you need at least around 1.5 million to join something like that.
Okay.
Wala pa yung clothes doon. At wala pa yung PR, at wala pa yung models doon. It's just the producing of the show under London Fashion Week. So, Fashion Scout is cheaper, but unlike London Fashion Week where you can just come in and say, I have money and I have a brand and I need to promote my brand through your platform, you can just pay. Fashion Scout, because they don't charge that much,
may ganun pala.
They need you to audition, which means it's a couple of months of submitting your garment, and then medyo difficult yan for me because the garments are coming from the Philippines, and then you submit, and then and then they also check out your profile, what makes the brand DNA of your company fit for this kind of showcase, because there are so many fashion organizers in London, but only one is like Fashion Scout.
Okay. So basically, this Fashion Scout is parang minor leagues ng
minor leagues, but it is the most prestigious as far as amateur designers are concerned, amateur brands are concerned, because that's how I got into Vogue. That's how I got into Vogue Italia, Vogue UK, Glam UK, Getty Images. That's where they find you.
I saw your stuff there.
That's where they find you. So it's very difficult because of the audition process. But since we can't afford, London Fashion Week, you have to go through these auditions. So when I made it, I was proud enough to tell to Epson Philippines na, okay, I will say yes to this collaboration for one condition lang.
Ano?
All I need is for you to pay for, kasi once you make it through the audition process, you still have to pay for the joining fee. And since sabi ko I'm gonna share everything, which is around mga $500,000, including the show itself, the models, and you have to hire a PR. You can't not hire a PR. There's no point in doing the show if you don't hire your own PR. So it's almost around $500,000. Wala pa yung clothes. So Epson came in for that. Hindi naman yan specific, so I don't think I'm bound by contract to conceal these things. But anyway,
naman.
So basically, that's what happened. So, that's what they thought. And that's what I thought then. Mag-fashion scout na kami. All the ball was rolling. Okay na kami. We were making the collection na and stuff like that. And then last minute, when my friend nga, Karen and Karis told me about this competition na I should join, just to join. I mean,
Pero you've
bring
been
the collection.
You're aware of Britain's top designer.
I've
now
heard
from
of it.
the-
I've heard of it
Oo.
because I saw one time I was watching a show called House of Icons, produced by my friend Savita K. If you're watching, Savita, hello. And I was watching, and then one of her featured designers, when they announced her on the catwalk, that she's Britain's top designer 2015, I think. And I was like, oh, but I'm not British, so I cannot join that. But you sort of dream of these things. Eh? As a young designer, it's very important to join competitions because it will give you press for less.
Oo.
That's the only way you get noticed without paying as much.
Yeah.
So I submitted, and then I waited, and then I submitted again, and then may mga questions, and then you have to answer, fill up an application. And then when I heard na I made it to the top 6, kasi 6 lang ang mag-show eh.
6, wow.
6 lang ang mag-show eh, out of lahat na nag-submit. I was jumping up and down, and then I was so happy to let Epson know na actually there will be 2 shows now, not only 1 show. You're paying for 1 show, but I'm giving you 2 shows.
Okay.
And then, so it was like a bonus that I was happy to share with them. And then, yeah, especially the winning part. That's something you don't really expect, right?
Oo
You
nga.
hope for it, you work hard, but you can't,
you can't really tell na
yeah, you
mananalo.
can't control the judges' minds because pwede kang, I love my collection and we did our best and I couldn't have designed it any other way. That's how satisfied I was with the collection because for me, it was the best that it could have been.
Yeah. Ako din, nung nakita ko siya, parang when I was drawing, illustrating
You didn't
the
think it would
drawings,
look like that, though.
ano yung gagawin niya dito? Di ba? Paano magiging damit to? Di ba? Para kasi, we don't have the templates dun sa original.
Yeah.
Pero, nung tinitingnan ko, saan kaya pupunta to? Tapos when I saw the
And
photos.
I think I made you design one strip.
Oo nga eh.
And then I was the one, they didn't know na I was gonna mirror it. May specific size lang
Well,
ako,
I-
like 20 inches, or 15 inches. 15 inches kasi a fabric has 60 inches width.
Okay.
So alam ko pag minultiply ko siyang ganun.
Parang nakita
Pero
ko
may
naman,
idea ka na.
ko naman na
Okay.
pwede siyang
I-mirrorize.
i-mirror. Pero the garments themselves, parang paano kaya magiging syempre alam ko I'm a t-shirts and shorts guy. So paano kaya magiging t-shirt to? Kaya magiging suit, 'di ba? Tapos how would it go dun sa I don't know the terminologies. I'm not a fashion guy, by the way. I am way so far na wala akong kaalam-alam sa fashion. So I'm the least person that you should ask regarding these things. But we have John Herrera here. Kaya ako siya inimbita. And that is the point of the show, Ed. Invite people that kasi
We can learn from.
yes, and also I don't think Filipinos are really in tune with your kind of industry. Kasi
Actually.
and to be honest, parang people would snark pa na parang mga yan, mga elitista, mga
What I've noticed kasi I'm not what you call an Instagram famous designer. Instagram famous, and I know all of them and I love them. They're my friends and I'm very proud of them. But I noticed lang talaga na when it comes to international fashion scene, it goes over the general public, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
yeah.
sabi ko nga,
ganun talaga eh.
what I tell people is that we're a country of sports, more into sports and pageants.
Yeah.
Sports
I suppose.
and pageants, and I am not. I'm not very. I haven't built my career on designing for pageants. That's why I'm not in the radar of so many people, and that's fine. That's fine.
Well, ano naman eh, it's not that we can't appreciate kahit yung mga yung mga tawag doon, yung mga pag nakita natin, let's say may mga award shows or pageants nga or yung
And I'm one of those very few people. Huwag niyo akong patayin, netizens. I don't care if I watch a pageant or not.
Mhm.
Like if I miss Miss Universe, I'm okay. I
ganun
mean,
din
don't
naman
hate
ako.
me, guys. Don't hate me,
Uh-huh.
okay? I mean, I love our standing in these pageants. Because when I Google, I get to see how good we've done through the years and how we are one of the very few countries who has 3 Miss Universe, mga ganyan. And I'm very, very proud of Pia. But I will work on it. Maybe I can try, but
Oo.
I don't build my life around it.
Is it an outrageous thing to say for a designer?
Yes, for a fashion designer.
Tapos
yes.
you don't care that much
Yeah,
about
and then-
pageants,
and
so
then,
that's
and then the next day when people are talking about like yung ibang mga or for example that week, because that's when Pia won, it was all everyone can
Grabe.
talk about. You go to a party, you go to an event, you go to that's all they talk about, and I'm pretending to know. I'm like, oh yes,
Pia, ano?
yes, yeah. No, but I know we won, and I'm very proud. But if hindi ko pa nalaman na nagkaroon ng mishap, I don't think I would have watched it.
Yeah. The infamous Harvey.
Yeah, the Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey mix-up.
Uh-huh.
But what can you do? I mean, we all have our interests, right? And I'm more interested in making clothes than pageants.
Well, sometimes ganun naman
And for the
talaga.
record, when I was in Paris for Vicky Bello's wedding, Vicky Bello and Hayden Ko's wedding, I was in my Uber going to the wedding, and I told the driver, "Oh, congratulations, you're Miss Universe."
Oo, talaga.
Yeah, France won. And then the driver said, "What's Miss Universe?" I said, "It's the biggest pageant in the world. I mean, hello, and you guys won." And he's like, "Oh, beauty pageants? I don't know why we do that. That's so degrading to women." And then I realized, okay, so different people from different cultures and different countries react differently to,
Well, maybe it's just is he or
the driver was a guy, but even the women that I met, I think it's not as big in other countries, especially Europe. But then again, hindi rin sa atin big there's this thing there called Eurovision.
what's that?
It's a music
Yeah.
festival or a musical show that is aired on television. And I tried to watch it and I found it strange.
Football.
I found it silly.
Diba, sa yung mga like football, parang some Pinoys would appreciate it, but I think most of Filipinos parang
more
don't
into-
really care.
Are we more into basketball now or more into boxing?
Boxing and basketball. And
Yeah.
I think MMA is
Gaining popularity.
Kasi it's
Okay.
fighting eh. Parang
So, grabe ka brutal yung MMA for me, ha?
talaga.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a huge MMA fan.
You see blood.
Oo. And yung ibang dun sa yung mga pay-per-views kasi MMA events, yung mga pay-per-views yan, yung produced by UFC kasi pay-per-view nga eh. So they're not hindi sila masyadong pinapakalaman ng mga networks. So okay lang yung blood, makita mo yung canvas, puro blood talaga. Pero yung mga sa Fox or whatever network, they would spray paint after each match para hindi makita yung para hindi makita yung blood kasi to make it a little look safer to the general audience.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh.
That's crazy. But sometimes I try to. I mean, I'm not a mutant. I try to get in, feeling. Alam mo yan, parang just try to blend in.
Oo.
So I sometimes watch MMA ba?
UFC, MMA. UFC is the company.
The company.
Pero yung iba, yung ibang mga casual fans, but I train UFC.
But sometimes I'm
UFC
like,
is the company.
okay, but sometimes I'm like, it's too violent for me. But yeah, I still trying hard pa rin ako to blend. Like, with my pageant friends, I try to blend very much.
There are women in MMA now. So it's
Oh
in
yeah,
Ronda Rousey.
yes, yeah,
diba?
I've heard
Diba?
of her.
So,
Yeah, I've heard of her.
a lot of
She's hot.
yeah.
Wait, how about that guy, that cool Scottish guy?
Irish,
Irish
Conor
pala.
McGregor, probably.
McGregor.
So,
I like him. I very like him, but for the wrong reasons. I like him for the fashion.
yeah.
I think he's one of the very dressed ones I've seen,
Best
and not just
dressed.
in sports, but in general.
Oh, at saka, that is his, lahat ng ginagawa niya, it's calculated. He's a very smart dude. He propelled himself in just 3 years to becoming the highest paid UFC athlete.
Because of his talent, or because of all the other things like the media around him,
it's talent. You need to begin with talent,
Okay.
diba?
So meron, he has that.
Talaga, he's lethal. He's
okay.
lethal. He's legitly lethal. But
and then
the
all the
difference-
other things pa, like branding,
Yeah,
which is
the
what
branding.
David Beckham, is an expert of also,
That's yun yung yun ang edge
That's what gets
niya.
you the endorsers, right?
Yes, and not just that, the fans. When you get the fans behind you, yun yung when you get the fans to care about you, whether they hate you or they love you. Parang Floyd Mayweather, di ba? Another monster in promoting themselves. And then everything that he says, every clothes, lahat parang and the thing is, you would see him as this arrogant Irish guy. Na, pero,
But you can't stop looking, yeah. Right?
Yeah, and
you can't stop following him. You can't wait to hear what's the next thing that will come out of his mouth.
Yeah, but the thing is, yung ibang nakakakilala sa kanya, there's this one analyst na sinabi niya, if you are alone with Conor McGregor in a room, and there's no cameras around, he would parang come up as a shy guy. Diba? But once you get the cameras rolling, he's gonna switch on. And he's gonna become Conor McGregor and he's gonna destroy you with that in any way possible.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
everything is
Galing.
calculated with regards of that
nice.
guy.
Okay.
Okay, balik biglang naging MMA tayo. no?
I think it went over my head na. Na-reach ko na yung sports
Yes.
limit. Sports limit ko. Don't talk to me about basketball. Wala.
Okay. So, well, another thing about you.
Oh yeah. We have to talk about the Philippine Eagle Foundation.
Yeah.
Because
Oo nga pala.
guys, if you've heard or if you're not just following me, but if you've been following the Aguila collection, I'm one of the very fortunate designers. I'm the first fashion designer to show at the National Museum of Natural History, and this was because of the thing that I've been praying also for when I was designing the Philippine Eagle Foundation. The Philippine Eagle collection. I've been praying na sana something else can happen from this, and specifically, I prayed for maybe we can do something for the Philippine Eagle. But then again, I knew no one from that organization. So since I have to give credit where credit is due, when I got back from London after that competition, I remembered getting a call from the office of Miss Karen Davila to be a guest in her show.
Yeah.
Called Head Start on ANC. And then we talked about that. And then that's when the people from the Philippine Eagle Foundation saw the interview. When they saw it, they automatically thought maybe we can do something with this guy. Because, there's this Filipino designer who won Britain's Top Designer using, the most iconic image, of the Filipino people. And what's ironic about that is the Philippine Eagle is actually in danger. Still endangered. After all these years, still endangered. So they needed to raise funds for it. And then when I got the call, even without details, I said, yes, what can I do? How can I help? How can I help?
Diba?
And then I was very fortunate because I've never seen an eagle up close. We were designing them, you and I, we were designing the images based on
Photos.
casual photos of different photographers, tourists, you know.
Well, I did see naman.
I saw na.
I saw in
Okay.
the one in UP Los Baños. They have an aviary doon. It's
Wonder.
majestic.
That's great. That's
It's
great. So
majestic.
I was designing, not knowing,
Oh.
na having not met any of my muses, which is the Philippine Eagle.
It's it's pag nakita mo siya, kasi pag nandito ka, especially if you're a city person in Manila, nakita mo mga pipit, mga maya, di ba?
Maya is
And then siguro chicken yung pinakamalaking na bird
kalapate,
makita mo.
yeah.
Yan. So pag nakita mo siya and
Bird of prey.
looking back.
And I don't even, you know what, when I saw it in person, I wouldn't even classify it as a bird.
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's like something
dinosaur.
out of, myth. It's big. Sige, let's start on the facts. Let's start with the facts. The trivia about the Philippine Eagle.
Sige.
So it has the widest wingspan
Yes.
in all birds of prey.
Yes.
And actually, when eagles are
In
concerned,
eagles.
yeah,
In eagles.
the widest.
The albatross, I think, is
Yeah,
the
the
widest.
widest wingspan compared to the American eagle, to any other kind of eagle. And then it's the only, we call it the Philippine eagle because the specific breed it's only endemic in our
yes.
islands, in all three major islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Meron
then-
pa ba sa Luzon right now? Maybe,
Yes,
maybe sa mga Kalinga doon.
Yeah,
Oo.
mga Benguet area.
Oo.
Yeah. That's why yung other prints natin were inspired by, yung mga tribal
I
tattoo
see,
art ng
I
mga
see,
Kalingas.
I
Yeah,
see.
because I saw that they're the group of people, the tribe that you usually, see eagles roaming around. Well, aside from the fact na dapat pag-usapan din because of I mean, our country hasn't really been paying attention to our natural resources, our nature, kumbaga.
Yeah.
And this affects greatly
Poaching
the
is still a problem.
the existence of these birds. And it's so hard to, and that's why we tried to raise as much money. And we're still doing that. We're still doing that with the Philippine Eagle Foundation. We're still trying to raise money. Again, we have to thank a couple of people. Aside from the Philippine Eagle Foundation, the people who made the show happen, Tim Yap, Feli Atienza, thank you guys for
Kuya Kim.
Kuya Kim, yeah, thank you so much for doing that. But this is actually my biggest advocacy now, aside from the HIV advocacy, which we will talk about later. The Philippine Eagle kasi, it's so hard to breed them. You know why? Because they are monogamous creatures.
Yeah.
They mate for life. And then, they're very good at family planning. Because it takes 6 months to a year for the male to court the female. And you know how he does that?
Paano?
By giving her materials to build the nest.
The nest, okay.
And then
hindi siya mismo yung gumagawa. Siya yung bibigay niya.
He would offer materials to the
kasi
female.
the other birds would
Build the nest,
nest.
But female eagles are very much capable din kasi. And later, listen to this.
Okay.
So once na they're mating na officially, giving materials, tapos na yung nest by the time that they start to try to have a baby. And it would take around a few months, and then pa-isa-isa din sila eh. They don't lay eggs randomly na madami. So pa-isa-isa, and then the only time they will start to make another one, ito pa pala. So once that baby is born, they take turns watching over the baby and hunting. The female eagle gets to hunt, which is wonderful because, that takes care of postpartum depression, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good example for how even in heterosexual or any relationship, any kind of marriage, it's nice if you allow your partner to practice her trade, her craft, which is in this case hunting. The Philippine eagle, the female eagle needs to hunt as well.
It's a hunting machine.
To feel like she's still in charge of her life. Right?
Are the females larger? Are the female?
I don't know. I don't.
Maybe around the same.
Can
you check? Can
know.
you?
Can we Google that?
Check
I forgot
wiki
that.
for the Philippine.
Because
eagle.
I'm Yeah,
That's just-
I'm not sexist, so I never ask. I didn't really.
Kasi in a lot of bird species,
Uh-huh.
let's say the peacock, mas malaki yung female, di ba?
Mas malaki yung mas malaki yung male. Mas
male.
actually mas
Yung-
majestic yung male kasi mas show off siya eh.
Baliktad kasi yung male yung peacock eh. Kaya nga,
Yeah.
tapos yung hen is parang parang turkey, di ba? Na,
And then also what's amazing about it is they don't start trying to make a new baby until that baby in their nest learns how to leave the nest.
go to wiki ba yan?
So again, isn't that
yeah.
a very great example of family planning? Because
Oo
they
nga.
wait until the young eagle is can fly and can leave the nest, and then that's when they start to make another one. And this process would kaya that's why if
Buti
you're
pa
into
sila, no? May
breeding,
disiplina
if you're
talaga.
into breeding them, which is
Very hard.
bad for us because we're trying to breed them. Bad for us because this takes around 2 years.
Oo nga.
And that's why they're still endangered. As of today, we have around 400 pairs.
400 pairs
And
na
that
ba?
is still below that's very endangered. That's very endangered because how sabi nga nila, that's why they can't let them roam freely is because pag bird flu, climate or season, kayang makalahati agad yan with just one bird flu.
Talaga.
With just one strain, kayang mangalahati ang number na yan. And we're really trying to protect them.
And there's this mentality ng mga Pinoy, especially kasi I grew up in the province. Sometimes you would see mga crows, an owl dun sa probinsya. Ang first instinct, kahit yung mga bata pa, is to panain, di ba?
That's I noticed that too.
Di ba saba?
That's very, very, that's a very bad, is it in the culture? I think it's
Di
in the
ko alam
culture.
eh. Maybe it's in the instinct of people, pero parang teka. Di ba? Parang you see something different, let's say a different kind of lizard na you just is to catch it and
hurt it and study it by hurting it.
Oo nga eh, or capture it and show off and
Yeah, and my kuya is like this. My kuya Oliver, if you're watching, we grew up with him killing things. I hate that about him. Hi kuya. Terrible. But it's really not a good way. I mean, I think we should start also talking about how we raise our children, no? Yeah. I think it stems from that. Even the way boys treat girls. It's because of, I don't know, maybe the lack of inculcating that kind of mindset that you have to respect everything around you. Everything around you.
Yeah, you can connect that.
You start with your environment and then you continue with the people who are living around you. And then animals, any living creature and non-living creature. Maybe the Japanese are like that, right?
Parang it's to me it shows people's lack of a deeper ability to think. 'Di ba? Na parang okay, you saw something that's unusual na hindi mo pa nakita before, let's say a lizard, 'di ba? The flying lizard. Ngayon lang ako nakita na parang you want or bayawak, 'di ba? Parang for
water monitor.
Oh, 'di ba? So
and I'm not a parent and I cannot tell parents how to think or live or raise their children, but I can only imagine. I can imagine that as a parent, what you want to do is protect your kid, your child, your
Yes,
children,
of course.
protect them, give them a good home, and love them and respect them. And I know it sometimes because you get tired. It's so hard to remind yourself that aside from loving and protecting and respecting your children, you also have this very great task of teaching them how to do the same for others.
yes.
And that may be too much for some people.
Well, we should also consider that these, especially the Philippine eagle, ang nakaka-threaten sa kanila in terms of the humans are those people who live in rural areas, in the jungles, 'di ba? Kasi hindi naman parang yung mga nasa city probably wouldn't be a threat, although sometimes they fly in sa may urban areas sometimes, 'di ba? Parang
Yeah,
I've
but
heard.
if you get the chance on Netflix, maybe you can watch Birdshot, produced
Yeah.
by Quark
Oo nga, bakit
Henares.
hindi ko pa napapanood yun?
Yeah, if you look at it, it's more of a socio-economic and even political because yung mga factors na yun contribute because that community or the community around those supposedly protected forests, they're very hungry.
Oo nga.
Those people are very, very hungry. And I don't know if you deduce this for the people who saw the film, but I think it has a lot to do with the corporate greed as well.
Like how? Like which?
These communities
local
are
companies?
hungry because, first of all, the government needs to do something to make sure that they don't.
Oo.
They don't
To watch
have to
over
go
them.
hungry. I
Yeah.
mean, livelihood projects, whatever. A community has to be able to sustain itself, and if you take something from them, you have to give something back.
Oo nga.
If you take something away from them, then you have to give something
Yeah,
back.
like let's say mga squatters, you need if you're gonna
Displace
demolish
them, yeah. You have to
their place, you have to relocate.
Relocate, yeah. And it really goes, hand in hand with corporate greed, right? For me, because that's how things work. That's just how things work. So, yeah. And sabi ko nga we can try to raise as much money as we can, but if we do not reprogram those people who continue to hunt the eagles because of hunger, because the you can't even eat it. Did you know that?
Oh,
You can only sell the talons and the beak.
Oh, really?
You can't eat it. It tastes bad.
Talaga?
Yeah. So, that's why nakikita yung mga pinatay. Because they throw them
I
Kinukuha lang
see.
yung mga important parts.
At saka, hindi ko magets these talents, I presume, would be another aphrodisiac ingredient in Chinese medicine. Parang, why do people still believe that shit? Diba? Parang, bakit? Like the dolphins, like the rhino horns. Why do they still believe that? Hindi ko maintindihan. Yun yung bakit. Kasi without the market,
why do humans feel superior to things? And they feel like it's a badge of honor
yeah.
when they kill something and put it on their wall.
Oo nga eh. Well, actually, I just got, me and with Len, we participated in the Animal March yesterday.
Oh, there was. Wow.
Oh, there was an Animal March. So,
I saw that on
okay naman.
Facebook. Oh,
Yeah,
that went well, right? That went well.
yeah, it's a good start. Parang the people who attended, hindi naman siya in the thousands, pero it's a decent number. It's a decent number, and parang
what's important
expected to just grow annually.
That's how the Gay March started here.
Yeah.
The Gay Pride Parade started with hundreds, and then when they started marching 4 years ago, I think there were 1,000, and now there's 23,000.
Wow!
This year,
Ang dami.
23,000.
And simultaneous in different cities?
I only joined the one that's produced by the producers of the original one in Malate. Now it's in Marikina, my hometown. So for the last 2 years, Marikina siya. Last year it was 8,000, and
How did it
now
go?
it's 21,000, 23,000. Well, it's fun. It's fun. You get to celebrate. In my case, we didn't actually get to that part in our history where it was necessary for us to march. Unlike the original Gay Pride March in New York.
Can you say that again? We didn't get to the part
We
of history.
we never experienced that in this country where our rights. It all started with this. It's called Stonewall riots.
Yeah.
Because of the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. There was a gay club there called Stonewall Inn, and then that's where gay people hang out. And then 1979, it was 1979 if I was correct, when a bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, no. This is in London. Sorry, where there was a raid and everyone was arrested.
Yeah.
And when you arrest
Check it
people
out,
for
kayo,
when you arrest people for being gay, then that's trampling on their rights, and that's why the first march was called the Stonewall March, and then it became a riot because the police versus the people who were marching and stuff like that. And then that's also when they started using the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
They started using the whistle because if in that community, gay people are being harassed by the police, all they have to do is march and then whistle, and then everyone would come to their rescue.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so that's why I belong to an organization called the Red Whistle, because we took that concept, but this time it's the fight against HIV and AIDS.
Ah, okay.
Because we're still on I think since the 80s the HIV cases, recorded HIV cases diagnosis in the Philippines have to date more than 4,000%. That's how exponential the 4,000%. Yeah.
Since when?
Since the 80s. Since it was since the first diagnosis of HIV in the Philippines.
Okay.
So we need to put an end to that. That's why our organization is called the Red Whistle, because we are doing everything to end AIDS.
Yeah.
A lot. The rest of the world actually have. Okay, so I'll tell you the number. Only Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines haven't are the three countries in Asia who haven't controlled the HIV epidemic.
Aside from Africa. I think Africa is...
Sabi ko nga, how come yung mga countries na kasama natin were war-torn countries or used to be communist, and how come we're in that zone?
Yeah.
How come we're even on that
list?
Company,
diba?
And it's there are theories about things like that, no? Which we discuss with our partners. Love Yourself is also is a big proponent in HIV testing and HIV prevention in the country. So them with our group, we get to do a lot of stuff to prevent and to take minor steps in the ending of the epidemic. And in Asia, it's only in the Philippines that it is a youth epidemic, because we have diagnosis as young as 13.
Wow.
Yes. And conversations in the past have especially with conservative religious people, have gotten me to scratch my head, because some of them would even say na, high school students don't have sex.
Oh,
which is a big...
That is...
And
that
say
is,
what you want to say, I think that's not accurate.
Well, it's...
High school students,
we know it's
some
not
of them,
true.
They do have sex.
Oh.
And then we're trying to get actually the age of consent. In this country, if you want to get tested, you have to be 18 years old and above.
Ah, okay.
If you're below 18, you can get tested by asking for for a parental consent. Who would ask for a parental consent to get tested for HIV?
Ah, okay. That's enough. That's
So,
a block.
Yes. So I don't know legislative wise if we have solved the problem.
Wait. If you lower the age of consent for HIV lang, pero not for sex.
HIV tests.
For HIV
Getting an
test.
HIV test.
Pero right now, it's the same as the consent for sex. Is it ganun ba?
Well, that only matters for the age of consent in sexual encounters if you are an adult above 18 and you had sex with a person who's below 18, which means that's statutory rape, right? But that only matters if the person involved would actually file a case against you, and this is actually a totally different ball game, because what we want now is to start them young on the HIV testing, because you get more responsible if you know your HIV status, which is either you're positive or you're negative. So if you are negative, you protect yourself. You take
Yeah.
care of yourself more because you know you're negative. And it doesn't weigh as much on the heterosexual community as it is with the gay community because uh,
I want to ask you about that. Um, mas is it true statistically that
gay men have more
uh,
sex than their heterosexual counterparts.
no, that HIV/AIDS is more prevalent in the gay community? Is
Yes,
it
yes. The numbers don't lie. Men having sex with men are more susceptible to
Why is
HIV and
that? Why
AIDS.
is that? What are
I
the
think
reasons?
it boils down to the fact that uh, I think at least my generation, because it wasn't easy to come out in my generation, so
Yeah.
it's easier to hide. It was more common in my generation than in the generations before me to hide in the shadows. And when you're hiding in the shadows, you do whatever you want
Okay, yeah.
because you're in hiding anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like
Lubos-lubosin mo na, kumbaga.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's why it's easy to get some
Yeah.
action if and I'm not speaking for everybody.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
speaking
Of course,
for everybody,
of course.
but it's more common. It's more common that since you're hiding in behind, and gay people, gay men specifically, it's so easy. Like if you've heard of this thing called Grinder.
Yeah, the app.
Yes,
The app.
yeah. I joined Grinder. I reopened my account as an adult man of 36. I joined it 3 days ago to
3 days
check
ago lang,
what
okay.
is going on.
What's going on,
I wanted
yeah.
to see what is going on. And since Grinder is a location-based app, you would get a lot of messages from random people who are 500 meters away. Where are you? Where are you? Can we hook up right now? And I was like, so that's
how easy it is.
that's how easy it is.
So-
because you know who's close. And sometimes I wonder if I get messages because of they like how I look like, or because I'm the closest. I'm the one that's walking distance away.
Yeah.
And
Well,
since I live beside the mall, a lot of people are in the mall. So I haven't.
you were a good-looking guy or a gay person.
Maybe.
Diba? So-
Yes. Okay, I believe so. I believe so. That's why I'm getting messages. But also,
Oh.
but sometimes I don't get that. Sometimes I feel like it's because I'm the closest. And
yeah,
and
it's
some
also-
of these people are horny.
Yes.
And you see it in their names even. Horny now. It's not even witty anymore. It's just horny now. It's absolutely stating a fact.
I have this I just got this idea now. Maybe just maybe okay, let's talk as adults. Ha? Wala na
Okay.
walang
Sige.
wala
Morality aside.
kasi maybe it's because kasi gay men kaya nga may men pa rin. So the natural instinct kasi with men is to be aggressive.
More sexually aggressive. Yeah.
And the woman would naturally would choose well biologically men is driven to kasi both sexes are driven to
Let's talk about
propagate
science. Yes, I want. I like
yeah.
that conversation. The science of how
Of sexuality.
how men's bodies work and how women's bodies work. Yeah.
So ang instinctively, if that's even a word. So it's instinctively.
Yeah, man was made to procreate.
Both sexes
Okay.
are ang goal niya is to reproduce.
Reproduce, yeah.
And men do it.
How
As
come? Yeah.
men
how
want
come?
to reproduce to as many offsprings that he
Okay.
could.
That's nature.
That's
Yeah.
nature. That's why men are polygamous naturally. And
But
women,
but then again, heterosexuals at a very young age are trained by their parents that someday you'll be like me and your mother. You will have one partner,
Yeah.
get married, raise a family together. So even when I was younger, I was raised that way. That someday you will be like your father and me. And when I realized in high school that I am not like my father, I am a gay person, and I like men or boys more than women, it it took a lot on me, because part of that is accepting the idea that I will not get to emulate my father, who will find a person like my mother.
Yeah.
So the first instinct of a child who was programmed that way, that you will not get to do that, you will not get to be like your father. The first thing is confusion, right? Confusion and feelings of, am I an abomination to God, to nature?
Wow,
Am I betraying my family? Am I betraying my father? Am I betraying my nature? So the first thing is confusion. And then the next thing is, oh, screw it. Since, at least that's how I thought at first in my life. I'm not speaking again for everybody.
Personal experience.
But I said, oh, screw it. So since I'm not going to have the happy ending that was programmed in me from birth, that I will get married, wedding, stuff like that. So I was like, since I don't have that happy ever after, because of my nature, which is alternative or different from my father.
Happy ever after in the traditional sense.
Traditional sense.
Diba?
Yeah,
Okay.
but what do I know? I realized I was gay at 13, 14. So what do I know?
So you're speaking with...
And I wasn't, and there wasn't anybody who was showing me the light. I didn't know anyone who got married, and any gay couple who got married. So during my, it was this was in the 80s, I didn't have role models. Because if you didn't have your father and your mother as a role model when you were younger, in your childhood days, then you didn't have anybody. I didn't have uncles who were gay. There wasn't, the only gay on television were the roles being played by Roderick Paulate, and I was like, but I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate. And now, now things are changing, because for the millennials and the ones who are younger now, they have Sam Smith, they have this, my friend, fashion designer Francis Libiran, who got married and who showed them that this can happen to you. You can aim for this.
Yes.
So as young as in your high school days, you can start planning to find that someone who will marry you and you will spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, in my generation and the ones before, we didn't have that happy ending. We didn't think that was possible, and that's why some people in my generation got lost in the dark. Went to these easy lay. I mean, just to pass the time, just to find someone for a while, and then go back to, and for some cases, it's very difficult, because some cases they tried to hide it so much that they married women.
Yeah.
And that's why they have, again, a culture of living in the dark and continuing, satisfying their nature.
Well, a lot of those gay men who married naman ended up, just to be fair, ended up happy, diba?
Yes,
Yeah,
and I know a lot, but then I know some who weren't as lucky.
Yeah. Well, it's just
weren't as lucky, who instead of, and then we talked to them. They are in the Philippine HIV Center.
These are
met
HIV patients.
We met one, a mother who has a son, and they're both HIV positive, and it's because she didn't know that her husband was a man who sleeps with men. And it was too late when she found out,
So
and
he hid
and he passed away before them, and it's tragic, and it's tragic, and I wish them well, but I worry about the kid more than anything. And
how old is the kid when it happened?
when I met, I think the kid was born with it.
Oh,
I met him. I think he's 7 years old now.
Yun yung
Or the last
pinakamasakit,
time I saw
no?
him. Yeah, it's very depressing. That's why that's why the thing that is in my life right now is at the forefront of my advocacy is really the HIV. The HIV epidemic. It's at my highest priority, because if you've heard or if you've read about it, my twin brother Paul passed away because of HIV/AIDS complications, and
How old was he when he
32.
passed? 32. Okay.
Yes, and the amount of pain was too much, because there was nothing you can do. You wanted to deal with your pain, and then you see your mother, and then you see your family, and then you see everybody.
Pain? Whose
Of
pain?
losing him. Of losing him. And
on your pain, you're talking about
and
yourself.
me and my
Okay.
family's pain of
Okay.
losing him, and what even my family didn't see was when we were hiding it. And so I started the journey long before them, the journey of pain, because I went with him to the hospital. I went with him
So
before
you,
he
you
came out.
guys hid his
first.
sickness.
Yes, his diagnosis. We tried to hide it from our family at first, because I was
For how long?
a month. Yeah.
Ah,
So because I wanted, I didn't know what to do.
Well, you were syempre may yung yung stages pa ng denial, and then
Denial is such a strong
and
tool.
and you're gonna be angry pa, di ba? So, mga stages na
Actually,
yun.
the first thing that the first thing that came to mind when I saw his diagnosis was, okay, so let's get everything in check. What do we do to get everything in check? What has to be done? So we went to the hospital, and trying to keep a straight face, because I had to be strong for him. Because I cannot break down. If I break down, he breaks down. And if he breaks down, we all lose our shit, no? So I was trying to be strong in the whole process. And then I was asking him, when are you gonna be ready to talk to the family?
Okay.
Like,
You were how old when
32.
this happened? You're
4 years
twins.
ago.
You're
we're
twins. We're twins. I see. Oo nga pala.
And at the time, we never had tested for HIV. It wasn't in my... I know it was very... I wasn't an HIV advocate then. I know...
So that triggered your advocacy?
Yes. Because if I can save one family from this pain, the pain is not the diagnosis. The pain is in losing him. And to a lot of families, early diagnosis is like cure. Because you can live a long life.
Yeah.
You can live a long life with the medicine now, with after all the HIV research, you can get it in check, and you can live normal lives. I have a lot of friends who live almost normal lives, because mas mahirap pa yung diabetic eh.
Oo nga.
Mas mahirap pa nga buhay ng diabetic kaysa may HIV. You can eat anything eh. And you just have to take care of yourself.
And be careful in
Be careful.
spreading the.
And
Is it how about HIV research? What progress have we done?
well,
Is
there is a
are
drug
there
now called PrEP.
breakthroughs? Huh?
The breakthrough now in the last few years is called PrEP.
What's that?
PrEP. I forgot what it stands for, but PrEP is basically it's like a pill you take every day, to prevent yourself from getting infected. So even without protection, well, again, this is not something we're advocating that if you're on PrEP, now you can do unprotected sex. But the idea behind it is it lessens the risk of getting if you are a person who does unprotected, because some people they just don't do protected sex.
Oh, nga, no.
Yeah, and that's the reason why in London, in the last 3 years, their HIV diagnosis have been down by 60%.
Oh, okay.
60%. And they say it's because of PrEP, because that's the only thing that they started doing. And some of the people here in the Philippines are on PrEP also, so that's good. I heard it's somewhat much expensive, but still, it's nice that we have it here now.
Nice.
And I like when I check Grindr, because the last time I had Grindr was in 2012. 2012.
So it's been around since then. I thought it was it came out mga
It's
2015.
Way before Tinder to, way before.
talaga? Nauna pa siya
Grindr
sa
was the
Tinder.
first. Was the
I
first
see.
dating.
I see.
The first ganun kadaling dating app on the cell phone. Kasi before that, it was sa laptop, yung Planet Romeo and Guys for Men.
I'm not aware.
So you need a laptop or a desktop for that. But yung sa phone app na locator, it was Grindr.
So, siya yung
pioneered.
ginaya ng Tinder, basically.
Well, Tinder, I think, ang ginaya ng Tinder, I think yung, yung Harvard connection.
Yung kay Zuckerberg.
Yeah, where you flip yung based on hotness.
Yeah.
Parang ganyan.
Okay.
So, in Tinder kasi, you don't connect with someone that you don't swipe right.
Mm-hmm.
When you swipe right, tama ba? Yes, when you swipe right, it means you like the person.
Okay.
So, if you both swipe right, you can connect with each other. So you don't actually, unlike in like in Grindr, where you need to, you can just be messaged by anybody.
Okay.
In Tinder, you know that it's worth messaging that person because you matched already.
Yes. I don't know kasi I haven't hindi ko siya
so
tinry.
hindi sayang yung effort mo. You know that mas malaki yung chance na you actually get
I see.
a date or a good communication with someone because you both swiped right.
Ganun pala
Yun ang magaling sa Tinder. Yun ang magaling. But in Grindr, it's up for grabs. If your profile picture is there, you can get messaged by anybody.
Let me just go back to what I was saying kanina. Diba, I was talking about men and diba? So they were generally driven ang men to reproduce and wants to reproduce to as many
try
partners,
to fertilize as many eggs as possible,
yes.
and this is what science would this is
biological
biological,
instincts.
biological.
Well, women, of course, the main goal is to reproduce din, pero they want naman the best men, the best men to get them pregnant. So that's why they're more choosy. Diba? So,
because
if you're gonna...
you want quality.
Yeah, you want
over
quality.
quantity. Men
Yes.
want quantity.
Yes.
But females, they want quality.
So that's why they're not receptive to just any men. Kasi well, obviously they would be the one to carry the child, and it's costly, 'di ba? Compared to men, they could just swing, wala na, 'di ba? Pero the woman would need to take care of the pregnancy and then the child after. So ang laki ng ano sa kanya. So that's why first she needs to choose yung the best possible genes. Tapos two, she needs to tawag doon, to make sure na he's gonna stick around. So naisip ko, since sa mga gays man, ano na yung
I'm sorry, what's happening? Ano
natin. Mag-hi tayo sa mga nanonood.
Hello, my sister, Ate Marie, hello. But how do I silence that one? Okay, volume na.
Volume na lang. Okay.
Hello, Ate Marie. Hello, April. Hello, Ignacio.
Philip.
These are my friends.
Yeah.
Philip. Hello.
So,
hi, Sunny.
So, ang naisip ko is maybe kaya mas yung mga gays is since parehong men, the instinct would be to
well, a lot of people would hate me for saying this, but yeah, that's what I believe too. At
least something to consider, diba?
Yeah, I mean, it's if I'm 36, if I want to be honest with myself, that's the reason. That's the only thing that comes to mind. I've a lot of friends who are monogamous, and I love them and I admire them so much, but I really believe that with guy to guy relationships, that's why. Someone asked me before, a straight friend of mine who keeps it real, who is very frank with me because he's really my friend. He told me, why are gays so lande? He told me that. Why are you guys so lande? And then you know what I said to him? Kasi nga, we can be real to each other. Sabi ko, we're malandi because we're still men, not because we're women. It's not the women's side. It's the male side.
Flirty.
That's the reason why malandi kami. It's because we're still men. Don't say na it's the feminine side that makes us flirty. No, it's the male side. Because, guys flirt. Even married ones.
And
a lot of my married friends.
And the guys pursue.
Yeah,
diba?
the guys
so
are,
if you so both parties would be pushing forward eh.
Yeah, yeah.
'Di ba? Pero kung woman to females, they'd be waiting.
And I hate that.
Well, that's just a general.
And, yeah, and I
of
know
course,
we're-
there are people who
Yeah,
are
we're not
really
allowed to
ganon.
generalize,
Oo.
but actually, like my friend Rio, if you're watching, hi Rio, I always tell her, how come you lesbians can stay at being with one person for a decade and
Oh.
I mean
Sige nga,
we're the same age and she's only had two girlfriends,
Mhm.
and I've had 7 boyfriends.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, you don't want to compare, but something's there. I mean, loyalty really must be innate in women, and I know that's politically incorrect, but I don't care. But I really believe so. And I know, and I have friends. Again, I'm saying I have friends. I have gay friends who are monogamous, and I love you guys. But then you're outnumbered by the ones who are not.
Well, it is
Including me. I'm kidding.
It is a social parang choice mo na yun eh. How you were brought up and your personal beliefs, whatever. A lot of
Or
factors.
maybe
would
some
be-
people just haven't found the one, like me. Maybe we're
And
still looking.
Yeah, also
You just have to give us time and don't judge us too much.
may pinaparinggan ka ba? Hindi.
May pinapakinggan ba ako? Ang dami. I'm kidding. Actually, yes. If you're listening to this, yes, it's you. It must be you. I'm kidding.
If you are looking for love advice, you can
oh my God.
you can send
This
in your
interview from fashion is now entering a personal ad. My bloody personal ad. Oh gosh, I'm pathetic.
Hindi naman, we're just talking here. We're just talking. Yeah. It's
Okay,
just-
so plugging ko nga muna to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Try it.
Mucha cakes.
Try it.
Guys, it's vegan, it's delicious, and it comes in this gorgeous packaging. It's rose gold.
Yes.
Yeah, try
it's
it.
vegan. Try it.
I'll open it later, pero
Yeah.
I can't actually eat.
Ayan.
Oh, look.
That's
gorgeous.
That's the
It's
carrot cake.
It's called the bunny hugger.
Yeah, bunny hugger is the carrot cake. This is I didn't like carrot cakes before, but
Sayang wala tayong commercial break, so I cannot eat this.
no, you can eat it right now.
But I don't, yung face ko nataba eh. Mamaya na lang.
Ganun ba?
Mamaya na lang.
Just one bite.
Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah. Let's go back to our politically
sige.
incorrect statements.
Sige.
You have a lot of gay friends, right?
Yeah. Well, relatives.
Shout out to
yeah.
all your gay friends and gay relatives. Hi, guys.
Because
Hi, JR.
because there are you can't just be politically correct because
All the time.
there are valid arguments on a lot of
Oh, Marie V. Rojas is saying
Marie V.
she
Hi, Marie
loves
V.
the bunny
Yeah.
hugger.
yeah. She's our friend.
wait, where is this available?
That is available. You can get that by messaging in the meantime.
Hey, Tita Marvi, oh, you have to try this. You have to
Yeah.
try this.
You can message hello.mucha
Hello.mucha
at Instagram. And also it is available in the Vegan Grocer.
Vegan grocer.
Yeah, Vegan Grocer. It is a vegan grocer.
A vegan grocer.
So it's
So
located
thank you,
in San
Vegan
Juan
Grocer.
yata. So,
In San Juan.
So
Okay.
if you want it, but if you're gonna
Gorgeous
order,
packaging.
it takes 72 hours
72
to
hours.
order.
Okay.
Pero in the Vegan Grocer, usually there's a stock,
Mhm.
so you can go there. Yeah.
I have a question. Although Len is not with us today, our wonderful chef, I wanted to ask her, but she's watching. I wanted to ask her if these cakes, because they're vegan, if they're healthier and sexier.
Sexier, definitely.
Hindi siya nakakataba. Or, of course, it's a cake.
Well, yeah.
But still better than eating, traditional cakes which has a lot of,
We wouldn't claim much, at least me, pero on the health side, because there's still sugar and it's dessert. Okay, let's call it for what it is. It's dessert, and
It's a
it's
dessert,
designed for you to enjoy.
Yes. So it's the healthier option. It's not exactly lean, but it's the healthier option. So if you're gonna if you're gonna binge on anything, better binge with a healthier
at least
option.
you don't get the hormones from the milk, diba? So and the other antibiotics that's involved in eggs or
Especially in
in milk.
mass-produced desserts now, right?
Yeah,
And the
so
white sugar is really white. It's the bleached kind. It's the unhealthiest kind of sugar, right? Yeah.
so yung well, vegan of course.
So Lenbelt Randorado just messaged us and said, "Vegan is sexy. Our cakes are clean, no pus,
Yes,
no hormones, no cholesterol." Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
but it's
Thank you, Len.
it still has sugar, pero it's
The healthier
designed
kind, yeah.
for you to be happy, eh.
Mhm.
'Di ba? If you take away hindi na siya masarap.
Yeah, that's
'Di
true.
ba?
That's true.
Oo.
Yeah, that's-
And the other, of course, the
Can't
Belgian
wait.
chocolate and the
I can't wait to try it.
yes.
And what else? Oh wow, 11 people watching. Hello guys, thank you for tuning in.
Hi guys.
Next.
If you were enjoying the conversation, please share and comment and
And
just
you can
comment
ask questions too. You can ask questions too, not always about fashion. It can be about something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About life, about ano bang mga interest mo? Sige nga, what
boring. I'm
what,
boring.
you're into documentaries. You
Yes.
said a while
Yeah,
ago. What
have,
kind of documentaries?
I have a terrible insomnia. I wake up 10 times a night.
Oh, really?
I'm also a light sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And the thing about me is, I don't like drinking mga
Alcohol?
drugs that
Okay.
would get you to sleep, because I don't like that, because I have to work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I noticed that my brain shuts down after watching a documentary. So, I get to see a lot of documentaries before I sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always usually about history, arts, art movement, ganyan,
okay.
and other cultures basically. So you can ask me trivia about any kind of shit.
From YouTube?
From YouTube, from
Netflix.
Netflix,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
and the documentaries usually are about art movement and
Art movement.
and things that changed, our
History?
collective psyche. Yes, right now
Like
I'm
which
into the Renaissance.
Okay.
Last month I was into the Regency period in England, and then yeah, I think I'm very heavy into the Medici now. That's why I heard when I found out today that you were an architecture student
Oo.
in Mapua, I asked you right away who's your favorite architect, because I'm really into this amazing guy called Brunelleschi,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the one who created who saved basically Florence. It's boring. It's boring, Amity. Let's move on to something. Let's talk about sex, please.
Okay.
It's boring. Hi, Mamoya. Tanong ka nga.
Sige nga.
What makes me happy? What makes me happy? Well,
Oh, yeah.
I told you nga before, when I was younger, I would sneak. I saw this post on Facebook one time about it's a quote, and it goes like this: when we were young, we used to sneak out of our houses, to go to parties.
Oh, yeah.
And then now that when you get older, you do the opposite. You sneak out of parties to go home, and that's exactly how I feel right now. I usually find myself sneaking out of events or parties to watch documentaries, because I really feel like when I watch a documentary about another culture at a point in time that you cannot get back anymore, that I travel to these places, and in a way, in my mind, I'm traveling. I'm time traveling even. So whether it's the Regency period or it's the origin of the British royal family now, or Russia, the history and the rise and fall of Versailles, or the Renaissance, I feel like I'm time traveling, and it helps me in my work. It keeps me informed. That's why I'm plugging now the recent bridal collection that I'm designing now is inspired by Baroque. And sometimes you will see a lot of Art Nouveau inspirations as well, and Gothic inspirations, and sometimes naman I'm in the mood for Rococo patterns. So it's always about something that has existed in the past.
Yeah. Well, I used to study those things, Rococo, Baroque, in architecture. It's those are eras eh. Pero ngayon hindi ko na hindi ko na masyadong alam. Let's talk about your is it your latest endeavor,
The
the
bridal
boutique?
show. Ah, yes. We opened our showroom now.
Showroom?
We
You
opened
call
it
it a
last
showroom?
month. Yes.
Okay.
It's a showroom because we still want to custom made the gowns in the sizes of the people who are fitting.
Mm-hmm.
So what they see there are gown designs that are hanging on the racks, and then you can try them on, or you can just look at them and then you can say, "Na, I like this one. I like it in my size." So
Okay.
basically, these are pre-designed gowns, but you don't actually buy the actual gown because they will be
Okay.
made in your size. But that way, some brides kasi don't have the luxury or the imagination to just leave the gown design to a designer and then sabihin nila, bahala na, I don't know how this will look. I mean, sa fitting na natin malalaman. So this takes care of that anguish of waiting for the gown to be made. And for some brides kasi, they don't like it, but it's too late. Diba?
Is it something like in in that show, Lifetime show, the
Say yes to the dress.
Yes, say yes to the dress, something like
yeah,
that.
so say yes to the dress. That's actually one of my inspirations. I
Uh-huh.
like the idea na it's either you like it or you don't.
Uh-huh.
So if a dress looks good on you, okay, make it in my size. But we're still customizing them, so they will be in your size. But it gets rid nga of, because here in the Philippines we're made to order. We're more of haute couture, right? Which is custom made. So sometimes even the brides don't have an idea how they would look, and some brides don't have that luxury of just entrusting everything to the designer and hope for the best.
Okay.
So here we got rid of the magic. Or kasi we call it magic sometimes kapag lumabas yung gown and then it's totally different
okay.
from what
I
a bride
see.
expects or what she saw in the sketch. And it's totally different and magic. Alam mo yun, parang okay, magic siya. So
Is it positive or negative?
it's negative to some brides, and I know I am not immune to this. I know when some of my brides don't exactly like, but it's like, a bride wouldn't tell you na I don't like the gown. So sometimes when my brides go home and I would say I didn't like the gown on you, can I make you another one? Sabi nila, okay, thank you, John, thank you. I couldn't tell you that. And who knows how many? I mean, I've made around 50 to 100 brides in my 12, 15-year career, and who
So you
knows?
started-
Who knows if some of my brides didn't actually like the gown and they just couldn't say it to my face
Because just went along
because they're
anyway.
nahihiya or whatever. But that's why we're getting rid of that part.
Well, that's a good strategy.
I told you, like this show, I like when things are created or invented because of necessity.
Yeah.
And for me, I started the showroom because of necessity, because I wanted to cater to those brides who wants to see the actual product and see the quality and the fit of and get rid of the magic or the confusion or the anguish or anxiety of waiting for your gown. Maganda ba siya or hindi?
Are you the ones? Are you
Thank you, Len.
Are you the one? Then what do you call that? I'm very fashion illiterate. Okay, so
Am I the one making the patterns myself?
no. Are you
Sewing?
the one choosing for the brides, or do they?
I
get
usually if you look at the store, we have the left side of the store has 10 gowns, seasonal yan. They change every 6 months.
Can you look up Keo, his page?
Yeah.
What's
johnherrera.com.ph. So we have a bridal collection now. So basically the left side of the store is bridal. So laging 10 gowns yan. We change them every 6 months. So you can directional yung bridal naman namin. And then the right side would have 10 evening gowns. Again, seasonal din yun. So they're like two kinds of business in one store.
Okay.
The bridal, when I see a client for the first time, or when my my sales and accounts manager who are there would see you. Hello to them, Camille, Colleen, and F. So when they see you and you're a bride and you come in, the first thing they do is they suggest
There they are. Okay.
they suggest 3 or 4 gowns for you. Maybe you would like to try this one, this one, this
Browse
one.
some photos kayo.
But we always ask you for there's a bridal there's a bridal folder there. And actually it's very bridal. Yeah.
No.
And we ask you right away if you like what we're showing you before you fit it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like this? And then some brides would say, no, I'm not more into the mermaid, which is a shape that looks like a mermaid. I'm more into the ball gown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll show you the ball gown, and would you like to fit it? It's very interactive, and it's abroad kasi that's how they do it. In London, that's exactly how they sell bridal gowns. It's in a showroom. They don't do sketches and then
ganon.
hindi gaya dito na you would give a down payment, we would show you swatches and sketches and you would choose and then ganon. And then wait and then pray. Wait for the gown to come out. And if you look at Facebook, ang daming horror stories of horror stories of brides. And I have a couple also who came to me after a terrible first fitting with their designer.
Okay.
And I'm happy na so far in the history of my career, I've never had to come up against a colleague, a designer friend. Usually, it's when the brides try to magtipid. That's when nagkakaroon sila ng problema because they end up going to a dressmaker or a designer from who's not educated in fashion.
Okay.
So never have I had the situation where I had to come up against a colleague or a friend in the same league as me. It's usually yung mga fly-by-night. Alam mo yun, meron ako stories na gano'n
What do you mean fly-by-night?
Fly-by-night, like there is this one person who left one of a bride came to me. Sabi niya, my designer ran away with my money.
Oh.
And I'm like, where is the shop? He doesn't live there anymore. Alam mo yun, yung parang ganun. So,
oh man.
So, no-name designer to. Ibig sabihin, these are the people who's just scamming people. Not really after, protecting
ganon,
their name.
even in, ano ba yan?
It's scary, yeah.
Ano ba yan?
And it's scary. Kasi, wala na yung, what do you call this? Wala na yung down payments. Bye-bye, sayonara.
Grabe naman yun.
And then
you wouldn't think that is something in one avenue that you would get scammed.
Yeah, and then the only thing na nga that you wanna ask bride is that that's why next time. I mean, whenever people ask me, I would always say na BIR registered yung designer, and then merong may receipt, and then my actual contract, and then that's professionalized the industry. That's exactly the reason why we came up with the showroom, which is exactly how clothes are being sold in London. And I think it's not bad to sell them that way too here in the Philippines, right?
How's the fashion industry? Kasi for an outsider like me who has no idea, my impression is that it's a little bit more organized than other industries. Like, if you're gonna compare it to the comics industry, parang everybody is indie, di ba? So, a lot of comics creators, wala silang mga, katulad ng mga BIR, wala silang mga companies, pero I'd imagine the fashion industry is a little bit more organized than that.
The difference between a comic maker and a fashion designer is that even though you're not registered, the publisher is registered. And that professionalizes everything because your publisher and your distributor, if they're not the same, diba, that professionalizes everything. Yeah. And what a comic maker gets is royalty for his work. And that's actually very professional. But the thing is, we don't have distributors unless if you're, especially for some fashion designers who conduct their businesses in their homes. Now, that's why they can fly by night. That's actually scary because if you run away with my money and I paid you an amount for a comic book, that's fine. But if you run away with my 50,000 pesos and I'm a bride, that's a big amount of money. So that's why it's very important that when you go to a designer, since you're dealing with, because a bridal dress is the most expensive dress a woman is ever gonna own. So if you go to someone who's not, who doesn't pay taxes, that's very
CD na agad.
that's very risky. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's very risky from the point of view of a consumer, not from the point of view of a fashion designer. And I'm not saying that don't go. I'm just saying that
Be cautious.
Be very cautious, because there are a lot of fashion designers who are not registered, but who are not paying taxes and stuff like that, but they're very professional. But not always the case. And I know it will sound like negative, but I have actually proof of some clients who and when I wasn't registered a long time ago, I had the good conscience to always deliver. And a lot of the people I know now are like that too. So, but if you're going to a complete stranger, because some of the people who came to me, they went to complete strangers who thought, professional yung kausap nila. So, but for friends, it's fine. It's okay. It's good. I mean,
of course. Kilala mo na eh.
It's an art. I mean, some people are creative that way. I mean, it's fine. It's really fine. But even to some fashion designer friends of mine, I would always tell them, register your company so you protect yourself as well. Because a contract is between two people. And I know you trust the people you encounter. But what if you come across a bridezilla?
Yeah. How many bridezillas have you had?
None.
None na lang.
None. Never in my career have I experienced or worked with a bridezilla. I love you guys. No, but to be fair, I've been very lucky that way.
Okay.
I've been very lucky that way. I've never, even when I was not registered, I've never been. But can you imagine if something like that happens? I know of stories. I know of stories of designers na yung brides nila would demand stuff that are not in the verbal contract. Kasi some people, like before ako, I used to not protect myself with the contract because I'm thinking na it's just for the other end. It's just to protect brides, but actually it protects you as well.
Yes.
Because whatever the bride needs from you that's not in the verbal, conversation ninyo, then you can refer to the contract all the time. And again, a contract is not, especially during the FAMAS issue. That was the thing that taught me a lot of things, because
did you have a contract with that?
No, I didn't, because I was speaking with the person from the awards organization, and I thought they're a respectable organization, so I thought their words are like verbal contracts, and I trusted that, and now looking back, it's never do that again. I will never do that again. I will never agree to something for something
that's not written in paper.
Yeah,
black and
that's
white.
not written and not notarized and not professional. That's on me. I don't go around blaming people, but that's on me because I didn't protect myself.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, I didn't protect myself. And also, what I said during my Facebook Live to a lot of, the only thing we can do is learn from this and then hope that it doesn't happen to anyone else. So that's my take home. No? That's my take away from all this shit and drama and hatred and vitriol on YouTube.
Did you get bashed?
Check it. It's on YouTube. It's crazy. But anyway.
YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube. Oh my gosh. Just type my name and then you'll see mas madami pa yung videos noon than anything I've ever done in my entire career.
Talaga?
Yes. But that's show business for you.
Oh man, grabe ang YouTube.
Yeah, but what I can tell young designers is that you can prevent things like that by making everything professional, by making sure that you protect yourself with a contract, with a contract of agreement, sponsorship or otherwise, because and don't blame anyone else. Don't blame the organization. Don't blame the celebrity. Just blame yourself. because you're the one who didn't protect yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's not blaming yourself. It's also
Learn from
learning.
Learn from it so that it doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Also, parang ano siya eh. What do I want to say? Forget.
Yeah, because my intention to make it into a national conversation was, of course, misconstrued by a lot of the fans and followers of the celebrity. But actually, yeah, I don't regret anything anymore. I don't regret anything because although it's better to live without the drama and hatred of complete strangers, but then again, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do is to change the industry, how the industry thinks that these things can happen or can be done to fashion designers because famous people are above us or are better than us. Actually, that's not the case. Respect begets respect. So if you demand respect and you're willing to give it, then you deserve it. So that's what I wanted to do, and I think I succeeded in that because a lot of the people who messaged me on Facebook are fashion designers who have gone through the same thing, who have experienced the same thing, but didn't have the voice to actually speak up. So they thanked me for that. And then the rest are students, fashion students, or beginners, or fashion design wannabes who are like, thank you for this information. So now I don't have to make your mistake to learn from it. I can just learn from your mistake. And that's the best way for me to exist. I mean, that's the reason why we broadcast our mistakes.
Yeah.
So that others can learn from it.
Yeah.
And also, it's like telling people that no one's perfect. I mean, I make mistakes too. You know?
And it's also another factor on that is we are artists kasi eh, and these formalities like contracts.
We don't care for these things.
Oh, I'm even I guilty rin ako dyan sa parang I would do things na hindi talaga written in black and white and then something would happen and parang diba?
And then all you can do is learn from it.
Yeah, and sometimes you'd think parang you have graduated na, parang you've already paid your dues doing these these mistakes.
Learned, what I think you can do because you're an artist, right? Is not speak, not reply directly. Ikaw. That's what I learned now.
What do you mean?
Like have your wife reply to everything. To your emails regarding collaborations, regarding
have a representative basically.
Yes, always, because we artists, we just say yes. So now that's what I learned now. What I'm doing now in my company to professionalize this, it is if it's not creative, I'm not part of the meeting, or I won't reply to a question if it's not creative. The business side has to be dealt with by my account managers and by my business managers, who is my partners, my business partners. In your case, your partner is your wife. So, and then I think it's better if she speaks to these companies, these individuals who would like to access your talent.
You hear that?
Oh, you learned, you learned something.
Never
Never reply your own emails. Your work email. You cannot do that. If it's not creative, you shouldn't be in the meeting.
Well, I hate meetings then. Especially me and I work as illustrator and I've done for creative illustrations for different companies, commercials, and then biglang they want me to Essence. We're in QC, by the way, and they want me to go all the way to Makati. For meetings na wala naman. I attended some of those meetings and I didn't even speak. Nobody even asked me.
I hate
diba?
Meetings like that.
Diba?
Meetings na pwede namang email.
Nga, diba? So, kasi I usually my clients would be from overseas eh. Pero I delve sometimes into the local scene. Kasi nandito tayo eh. So it's important that we have local presence. But then biglang yun ang magiging experience mo. So after that, sabi ko, hindi na ako pupunta. Hindi na talaga pupunta. Sabi ko, kaya nga ako nag-freelance eh. Para hindi na ako hindi na ako magko-commute. Diba?
That's true. So, yeah. You have to have, someone has to do that for you. Someone has to reply to the email. Someone has to have your back.
Oo nga.
Have your back all the time. And that person cannot be creative. That person has to be the details person. I'm venturing into uniforms now.
Uniforms?
Yes, our
Of
first client, actually, I started, my business partner, Edgar. Hi, Edgar. Edgar Caper.
Hi, Edgar.
So, he asked me last year, can you design for, kasi he's also the marketing of KFC Guam.
KFC Guam.
And then
Okay.
they wanted like a seasonal uniform,
Mm-hmm.
which is just for a particular promo.
Mm-hmm.
Or a particular season that they're launching something and they need to be specially in a
Dressed,
specific uniform na ganyan. Parang, it's something like that. Hindi siya yung normal uniform but more of a dress, something like
talaga?
that. But it's in floral because they're launching, for
And
example,
kasi
whatever
Guam. Okay.
whatever they wanted to launch. And so we made that. We made those outfits and then we delivered and then I liked doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it because I'm classically trained in pattern making and in making clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So the uniform took only a little of my creativity. So I wasn't tired. I wasn't drained. Unlike when
Okay.
I'm making a
So the
bridal
idea
gown.
came quickly.
Yeah, and then it was just selecting a nice fabric, and it was selecting a nice neckline and a nice shape and everything, and then the production side, and then I made two patterns, and then
I suppose
production.
Mhm.
And then the pay is good,
Mhm.
and it didn't take a lot from me creatively. So my juice, it took a very little amount of juice, as you can imagine. And then I liked it, and he said, "Would you like another one?" And I said, "Yes." And then I said, "Maybe we can take a bigger company this time." Kasi one branch lang yun eh. And then
KFC is not
just
big
one
enough.
branch.
Just one branch.
in,
Okay, I see. I
Tama
see.
ba? One branch or three. Kasi tatlo lang yata ang KFC sa Guam. Sa buong
okay,
Guam.
I see.
Sa buong island of Guam, tatlo
I
lang
see.
yata. Sorry, tatlo pala yun. So, and then he said, "Okay, let's take on another company." And then again, when we tried doing it, we didn't think that we would get big accounts right away. And I realized na I'm professional enough. I am good enough, detail-oriented enough to get into the uniform. So, thank you to the LA Girl Cosmetics family for I think I'm allowed to say that now because we've delivered the uniforms already. So if you're ever in SM or in any mall or in Watson's and you see an LA Girl counter, LA as in Los Angeles, LA
okay,
Girl
okay.
Cosmetics from Los Angeles, and then we have it here. It's all over. It's in drugstores and Watson's and SM malls around the Philippines. And if you see them, they're gonna be wearing a John Herrera uniform.
Wow.
Our corporate wear company is called HH by John Herrera. HH, which is this logo, this one.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love it. I love
Bakit HH?
because this was
DJH.
because this symbolized House of Herrera.
Yeah.
This
House
was the
Herrera.
name
I
of
see.
the house that I made with my twin brother, Paul.
Okay.
Kaya H siya na binaligtad. So, House of Herrera. Mirrored na H siya, which
Yeah,
represents me and my twin brother. And when he died in 2014, I killed it right away because I was depressed.
Okay.
I killed it. And then, so when we were looking for a diffusion line or a name for a diffusion brand for the corporate wear, so I decided to use it again, HH by John Herrera. So it doesn't it represents the house that anything created in the company is under the House of Herrera. So yes, I'm excited for LA Girl, and then a couple of companies also have come to us for uniform designs, for corporate wear designs, and it's fun. It's fun. I like the idea, pero maraming meetings to.
Well,
Yes, you can imagine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because it's
Well,
meeting after meeting
yeah,
after
yeah.
polishing,
Yeah.
and I don't mind.
that's I think in that case, parang I can't imagine getting it done without meetings. Pero sometimes if you're gonna
Pag-email lang. In fairness naman sa mga meetings namin, I bring samples and swatches and sketches and we deliberate. So it's necessary that I'm there.
Yes.
Pero naiinis ako doon sa meetings na pwedeng email.
Oo,
Yan,
di ba?
yan.
Istorbo talaga eh. Instead na
Crazy.
ginagawa mo na lang,
That's
nagko-commute ka pa.
Nah, that's true. And the traffic now is terrible.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Traffic
why I
now.
quit the working in the office.
If any politician is listening to this podcast, guys, we need more trains.
Well,
We need more trains. I'm sure tumatawa yung mga friends here from London and Paris. Kasi, yung mga Philippine friends ko in London and Paris, this is the only conversation that's worth talking about for me if we're talking about the country. I usually tell them, let's not talk about people. Let's not talk about
politics,
regimes or regimes or
administrations,
dynasties or whatever, or administrations even. Let's talk about policies. Kailan ba tayo magbe-build ng trains? Madaming trains. Because don't forget in 2000, the MRT was inaugurated. There were only 11 million people in Metro Manila. Now, 2017, we still have one train along EDSA. Still one train,
well,
one
building
MRT.
naman, yun nga lang, it's been too late.
It's 2018. Hindi pa ba pwedeng maging apat na yan? And then maghihiwa-hiwalay doon sa dulo.
Yeah.
Right. We can't even, I mean, I'm sure it's in the works now, but it's been too long. Come on, guys, we haven't connected the two airports.
Oo nga
So
eh.
big and, come on, guys, we can do it. And stop building highways. We need trains. Come on, serve the general public, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
And ngayon parang they're implementing policies like the single
And then
driver.
Grab is so expensive now.
Oo nga. 'Di ba? It's parang
Wala nang competition, it's not so expensive. Tapos, I said, shucks, sabi ko, going here, sabi ko, kung effective lang yung train, I would rather take the train. I would get there in 30 minutes kasi I'm never late. I'm never late. But for me, I came here late because you told me 3:30. I came here 3:15. That's considered late.
Oh, really?
I wanted to arrive at 3 o'clock. So we have half an hour to unwind and discuss and talk some more before the interview. So I was like, that's considered late for me.
Okay.
So I apologize when I got here. I'm so sorry, but that's considered late.
I need to.
It's because the transport system should deliver.
Yes.
It's 2018.
And this
Kailangan
government.
puno na yung EDSA actually Puno na yan ng train. Ilang pila na yan. Dapat wala na tayong makita sa EDSA. Dapat puro train na yan as pag aerial view. Dapat puno na siya. Tapos maghihiwalay dun sa dulo. Maghihiwalay sa TAF. One, it will go straight to Mall of Asia or going to the airport. Tama na sa highway. Come on, guys. Ang dami ng tao. There are now 16 million people in Metro Manila. Come on, guys.
16
16
million?
na from 11.
From 2000?
From 2000. Mga 16, 17 million
I thought it would be
na.
more. Kasi
And
so
that's just-
4 million lang nadagdag?
Yeah, and that's just Metro Manila. And you know the thing pa I mean, I know it sounds like konti. But wala na space eh.
Oo nga.
Saan mo palalagay?
Oo nga. Wala. Yun ang problema.
Wala na space. And that means commuters. And every other first world country, that's the difference. You know, did you see the movie, yung zombie movie ng South Korea, Train to Busan?
No.
A lot of people were looking at the zombies and the story. You know what I was looking at?
The train?
The multiple trains.
Talaga?
And I'm like,
You're
nauna
obsessed with
tayo
trains?
sa kanila. Because nauna tayo sa kanila. Because Southeast Asia, we were the first to have a train.
Yeah.
The one in
LRT.
Rojas Boulevard. Yeah. Nauna tayo sa kanila ng hindi steam, hindi prehistoric train. Nauna tayo sa
Pero their train
sa
systems
electric.
were really parang malayo. Well, we also had naman.
We but
yung PNR. Nagka-train naman tayo dati. Pero pinabayaan eh. 'Di ba? and you know what they do? Yung mga part na yung mga rails na nasa may probinsya, they steal the tracks.
Yeah, and you know, it sounds like this is a cultural thing, man. This is really a cultural thing. We have to demand it from our, voters. Demand it from your leaders. And stop buying cars. Our culture, napansin mo ba our culture? Our culture, for us, success means you have a car.
Yeah.
And then I went to Tokyo to show, this way before the Aguila collection. This is the bioluminescence collection, which got me the London Emerging Designer Award in 2015. So I was invited by the Japan Fashion Week organization, thanks to Teta Ortiz Matera. Hi, Teta, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were invited to show in Tokyo. And then we were meeting the president of La Forêt department store in Shibuya, the president of the department store La Forêt in Shibuya. And then we were outside the mall, department store. We were outside the department store, and I said, well, "Why are we outside?" "Oh, we're waiting for him because he's coming off that bus." Like, the president of La Forêt department store is taking a bus, and they're like, "Yes, this is Tokyo. This is Japan."
Grabe.
And I realized, when I'm in London, it's the same. The rich and the middle class and the poor, they take the train.
Yeah.
Because the system works.
Yeah, and it's well maintained.
Well maintained.
It's way beyond decent. Diba? You can just we can't even achieve decent.
And we can do it.
here.
And I believe we can. I
Yeah.
really believe we can. If I've stopped having hope in this culture, in this nation, I wouldn't speak of these things. But I still believe in this,
course.
in our capacity to move, our capacity to excel, our capacity to triumph. And the biggest triumph now is this mindset of ignorance. This
And
mindset
also
of ignorance.
settling for less.
Ito pa nakakatawa
Diba?
pala. This is what I noticed, in my travels. Filipino teachers and parents would usually, not all the time, but usually would tell their children, study hard so that you will get a degree and you'll find a job.
Yeah.
A high-paying, good-paying job.
Yeah.
Chinese people say, study hard so that you can build your own business someday.
Yeah.
You can build your own business someday. And you know how it is in Japan, in Tokyo? Study hard because the next bright idea can come from you.
Difference.
Imagine, culturally different, right? Culturally different. So, yeah, I will never stop telling this country, the people of this country, my countrymen, that we need more trains.
Yeah,
That the only way for us to actually achieve abundance for everybody, not for some, but for a lot more people, is transportation. You need to transport the people to their work. And ito pa, naglabas yata, a few months ago, naglabas ng statistics na it takes the average Filipino 6 to 8 hours to get to work and to travel to and back from work.
Yeah.
And we know this,
Oo nga.
and we're not doing anything about it.
Oo nga.
Hoy, tama na sa highway, ha? Tama na sa highway.
Grabe.
Network of trains.
At saka, this, yung government would demand people to well, they encourage people to not use cars, basically, by implementing ordinances like the single driver rule, no passengers, bawal yun sa EDSA. But then, hindi naman nila inaayos yung public transportation. I think you can demand those kinds of things if okay yung transportation eh.
And it's and I don't know if it's if I'm allowed to say this because I'm not really, I didn't study public transport in some Ivy League school in America. But when you make those policies, don't you have to think about what is my alternative
Yeah.
to this thing that I'm gonna take away from them?
Yeah.
What is my alternative?
Parang yung kaninang sinasabi natin about, 'di ba, yung may kinuha ka, kailangan may kapalit.
I remember when I was in grade school, and then I come from Marikina, and I would watch a lot of people nag-aagawan sa jeep. I remember this very well, na I told myself, someday, mawawala yan. Mawawala yung ganun kadaming tumpok ng tao waiting for public transportation. Because we will get on it. And then, I went to Tokyo and London and Paris, and it doesn't exist. Yung ganun kahabang pila na waiting for hours on end, not knowing if
I've
you're gonna get
experienced
home.
that. Oo.
And wala pang ulan yan, ha? Pag umulan pa, mas ibang ballgame
Yeah.
pa yan. And I went to London, and I saw London, Tokyo, Paris, and walang factor even if nagsusnow. You will get home at a specific amount of time because the transport system works.
Mm-mm.
And then I came back here. And then now I realized na even in front of Mega Mall sa EDSA, dumoble lang na, tumriple na yung number ng tao waiting for public transport. Pagka 6 p.m., tumripple na siya kasi nahuhulog na siya sa streets.
Yeah.
So I'm like, something's
May mali.
not right.
Oo,
We're not mastering our own habitat.
Oo nga.
Even the baha. We're
No.
not mastering we're not becoming the masters of our habitat. If places like yung mga may snow and may snowstorm and may stuff like that, then you're supposed to master it, right?
Who would you put this on kung sinong may nito?
Mindset.
I don't want to say,
For me, this is
I don't want to say blame, diba? Parang
I think this is a mindset sort of thing. It's a mindset. It's starting. I think it should start from the way we talk to our children. The way we talk to our children. Like the Japanese do, they say na, the next big idea can come from you. I think we should tell our children this at a very young age. Let's program them not to become, let's train the Filipinos not to become a culture of workers. A culture of
pwede na lang yan. Kumbaga okay na settling.
Even the concept of passing in school is very much like just master it now, and then once you get the grade,
not even master, it's memorize.
Memorization.
You just memorize. So if you memorize something,
Memorize.
you forget it tomorrow,
yeah,
and then it's nothing na.
Yeah, so maybe we can change that. I mean, we all have Facebook. We saw what they do to their to Japanese children, right? Na until a certain level in elementary education, what they do is just learn about good manners, conduct, learning respect.
That one.
Right, diba? And then saka na ipapasok yung mga specific details. I mean, whatever you have to learn.
And so the sense of responsibilities, cleaning their own rooms,
And
diba?
we have to start now because we can't. Because you can't say, a few days ago, I was walking along Shaw Boulevard, and then may isang girl na nagtapon ng plastic bottle niya sa sidewalk. Tinapon, as in, threw it sa sidewalk. Yeah. I picked it up and I looked at her. And I threw it dun sa garbage can. I threw it in the garbage can that was like 5 feet away from her. And she gave me a look like, are you trying to say something? And I was like, yes, I'm trying to say. You
stared back.
Say something.
Okay.
And I know you have problems of your own and you have bigger problems. But
So galit pa siya.
But I don't give a shit. Kasi kayo naman yung nagbabaha kayo naman yung binabaha pagka nagbabagyo. Kasi ako, I live in a building. I don't care. I don't care kung makalat dito sa baba because I live in a building, 36th floor ako. Pag binabaha ako, patay na kayo lahat. But you know.
Yeah.
And if you throw something sa street, what are you teaching your children?
Yeah.
What are you teaching your children? So, I wanted not to make a big case about it, but wala eh. I mean, if I don't start, who would? If we don't all start, who would? And then pag binabaha sila, they're wondering ba't bumabalik yung basura.
Oo nga eh. Diba? Parang,
they're wondering.
Parang yun nga yung like what I said earlier, parang you don't, parang to most people, yung level of analysis doesn't go beyond what's obvious. Diba? Parang walang deeper
and I
effort.
I don't want, and that's bullshit. I will never stop believing that we can conquer the baha problem and the transportation problem. I refuse to believe.
A lot of countries have done.
We can do it. I believe in this culture, in this nation, and the people in it. We can do it, and we need the help of our leaders.
Yeah,
we need the help of our leaders, and someday, very soon, I hope, this election. Actually, mga nakaupo na ngayon.
Mm.
Mga nakaupo na ngayon. Tara, hindi ka na. Let's start. Let's do it.
Sa atin kasi,
We can do it.
ang kultura kasi ng politika natin is yung partido na kailangan team tayo, diba?
Kaya hindi ako nanonood ng
Oo.
I don't watch yung mga Congress stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ay, hindi totoo yan. That's distraction. You're distracting us from the things that matter. And the thing for me that matters now, and I see it every day because it's part of my life. It's a part of my staff's life. It's a part of your life. That's why we artists would rather stay home, right?
Yeah.
It's a part of our lives. It's a part of everyone's life more than anything else that we're talking about right now. It affects everybody.
Yeah.
Transportation and baha.
Yeah, I think people should realize that pwede kang magsalita against and hope for better things to happen than just accept what's here. 'Di ba? Kasi parang yun yung parang yun yung sinasabi ko na parang you don't go to the next level of thinking. Parang okay, baha. Ganyan talaga eh. 'Di ba? Parang it ends there.
Yeah, I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die not seeing that conquered by man.
Diba? At least,
We can conquer this.
That's the very least.
Well, my foreigner friends laugh at me kasi sabi nila, John, it's only in the Philippines that you have a place called Floodway. Where do you live? Sa Floodway.
Talaga.
Diba? Diba?
Ay, hindi ko alam yan.
if
Well,
you-
you live in Marikina.
If you're in Pasig or you're in Ortigas and then may makikita ka dyan ng mga jeep, may nakalagay doon Floodway.
Oo.
It's actually a destination kasi may mga tao nakatira sa Floodway.
It's also talaga.
But may tao nakatira sa Floodway. But
It's also a result of poor urban planning talaga eh. You're into architecture,
But
diba?
it's not too late.
Yeah. But
It's
Marikina
not
is not
too-
you're not supposed to build in Marikina in the first
Sa
place,
side ng
diba?
No,
Because it was marshland.
Yeah, but what I noticed is, like early this year, I noticed in my hometown, kasi I drink sa gilid ng, I drink at this karaoke bar called La Love's Place in Marikina. So, Mariqueños, visit it, nasa ilog siya. So, I noticed na one entrance of that area, sa likod doon ng LTO Marikina, has been shut down for months na. Sabi ko, why is that? Because they're building a flood system that will absorb or take the edge of the river pag daw umuulan. And it's a month-long, almost a year-long project. And I know it's been a long time, no? But they should have done it a long time ago. But I'm happy it's being done now. And I hope it works. I hope it works. But that's the kind of thinking that we should all get into at this moment right now. We should start now.
We should
start at something. Take the first step.
is
Stop saying, "Oh, we will never come." Paris has a very high water table. That's why pala the Opera House. Kasi kinasal si Vicky Bello and Hayden ko. Hi, Vicky.
Sana na.
Okay, so
Okay.
yung what do you call this, that part has a very high water table. So hindi bahain siya. That's why if you saw Phantom of the Opera, merong river under the opera house. That's not
okay.
actually a river, it's a reservoir.
Yeah.
So that when the water comes, pag umuulan,
Dun pupunta.
dun pupunta.
Ah.
So, yeah, we can conquer it. We can conquer our environment. We can do it. You just have to take the first step. Of course, you have to have faith. You have to have faith. And I do have faith. I do have faith.
Another thing is we don't see the sense of urgency from the leaders eh. Diba?
Kaya nila
That's-
yan.
No.
Guys, kaya natin, di ba?
Yeah, maybe siguro tama yung ginagawa mo eh.
Yes, yeah,
Maybe
kaya yan.
we need more encouragement
Oh, tama na
instead of
let's
instead
not
of
look
just,
into the
ano,
past
Yeah.
anymore. But whenever I speak to someone, especially if I know that they're working for a politician or they're a client of mine, I always tell them it's possible. Let's not focus on what's not possible,
great.
what's hard,
It's great.
what's difficult. Because this is ours. This realm is ours. This country is ours. This
Yeah.
environment is ours.
And complaining doesn't achieve anything eh. There's that's one thing that I've learned as artists, parang that drawing's not gonna draw itself. That
That's
dress
true.
is not gonna sew
That's
itself and cut the garments,
Yes.
diba? So
Yes.
So quit.
And the next big idea can come from you.
Yes.
It can come from you. Alam mo ba na yung yung London train system?
Mhm.
Kasi ganito siya. Since 1864, they have their steam engines na that takes people outside London. Ang tawag dyan overground.
Okay.
Anyway, so mga probinsya.
Mhm.
Because they can't touch the London city anymore, the city proper or the central city. They can't anymore because you have the Big Ben there, you have House of Parliament there, you have
Okay.
all those things na hindi mo naman pwedeng at the time. All the trains were overground, right? So nagkaroon ng problem sila during the Victorian times na the people once they are inside London nagkakagulo na pandemonium na getting on the buses, getting on the cabs. Hirapan na sila. Maapaw na yung city, grabe na yung pollution. So, there's this one guy who's a lawyer, and he kept pushing and pushing his leaders, House of Parliament and House of Commons. He kept pushing and pushing. He's a lawyer. He's a very clouted lawyer, but, he kept saying that we need to dig.
Yeah, the subway.
We need to dig. We can't, there's nothing you can do anymore about overground trains.
Yeah.
But we can dig. And they're like, that's not possible.
That's crazy.
It took him 16 years of not stopping.
lobbying.
His name is Charles Pearson.
Okay.
16
Yeah,
years.
I've heard about this
By
story.
the time na inaugurate yung first station, which is the Metropolitan Line, patay na siya.
Talaga.
Yes. Hindi niya naabot. Pero sabi niya, legacy na lang yan. Para na lang sa next generation yan. And he didn't stop. And you know what they did pa? Ganito pa kaluma yung method. It's called cut and cover. Basically, isasara mo yung isang part ng road, dig, dig,
Yeah,
20 meters,
Kasi wala pang...
build a track, and then cover it again before you start working on the other side.
Yeah,
and
I
then
see.
dahan-dahan siya.
I see.
And these are diggers using pala. As in, wala pang machines, wala pang
machines.
tunneling shield, wala pang tunneling machines na ginagawa at the time. So, and someone had to do it. Someone had to say it. Someone had to believe in it.
Those are the visionaries Parang we need people like that. Like Elon Musk, what he's doing
Well,
in
it
Los
starts from
Angeles.
something like this. We just have to talk about it all the time.
Oo nga. That's the reason why I
started this
podcast. Because like yours,
Trains.
I wouldn't have expected these kinds of ideas to come from you. Diba? Kasi pero diba kasi parang we know you as the fashion designer, pero we're picking each other's brains and diba, and we alam mo yun, there's more to people, and we are ordinary people. Parang we're also parang masyadong celebrity centric ang culture natin na parang lahat
either
na lang
celebrity centric or we like to we'd rather read negative things on Facebook. Sometimes I don't read my feed anymore because a lot of my friends, God bless them, some of them spend too much time spreading hatred, reposting what this magnanakaw did or what blah blah blah
Or
blah,
just-
or this viral person who and I'm like, that's as much as you think it's productive, it's not.
Yes,
It's not.
true. I've
I'd
realized
rather us talking more about things that can happen, that can be done,
Ideas.
than things that can't be done.
ideas.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say that parang simple-minded people talk about other people, and then a little bit better would talk about
Events.
and then yung mga matatalino
The best kind, the most intelligent kind of people talk about ideas.
ideas. Diba? Well, I'm not. Diba? Parang,
But
we
yeah,
need-
you agree with me, right?
Yes.
We can conquer the transportation problem. All we need are more trains.
Yes.
And we can conquer the baha problem. All we need are medyo complicated na konti yan.
Yes.
Medyo complicated na konti yan. And it starts with
It's
single-use
engineering.
plastic.
Single-use.
Yeah,
plastic.
here's where the government comes in. The government needs to look into companies that produce single-use plastic.
You're really into this. You've looked this up. Okay.
I've been obsessed with this.
Okay,
I've been
okay.
obsessed with this, both about the trains and France is becoming Paris, the city of Paris is gonna become plastic free by 2020, right?
No,
And
but yeah.
and the cities, the streets of Paris, the tourist, the center part certain districts in that city na high flow of tourists will be free from cars as well.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But the plastic is the most important thing
Yeah.
because they're taxing companies that produce single-use plastic more. So in the case here, if you noticed KFC still having metal spoons and forks,
Yeah.
if they can do it, then the rest can also.
Yeah.
All you have to do is not encourage people to take the plastic,
Yeah.
which means tax them more so that the fast food and the companies that make single-use plastic, they charge more for plastic than sa bottle. Because the bottle can be recycled, the plastic cannot.
Yung, di ba, yung mga nagpapadeliver sa mga deliveries, I always tell them, huwag mo nang lagyan ng
Don't
mga
br-
plastic,
yeah.
pero they still do.
Yeah.
Di ba,
Can we
bakit
talk
ulit?
if anyone from Yellow Cab, the big company is listening, guys, magtipid naman kayo. I mean, I know you feel like it's okay that you're sharing too much, but if you know that, I mean,
Or at
ask
least
naman
ask.
if we need 10 forks.
Di ba?
Ask
Yun.
naman if we need 10 forks.
So, it should be an option if you, kasi you're delivering it to your home.
Yeah, I actually like North Park now because they charge if you are taking home stuff in a plastic container. Yeah, they charge now.
Talaga?
I like that.
I think that should be a policy.
That should be
diba?
done.
The parang the guy no the customer service representative should ask, sir, do you need
How
utensils
many?
with
Yeah,
that?
and how many? If you're delivering to a house,
Parang it
baka
should
nang
be
pwedeng wag na lang tayo mag-deliver ng
Oo
utensils.
nga, diba?
Although Yellow Cab, in fairness, yung chili flakes, I love that
Yeah.
overstock kayo when you deliver. I love that.
the chili oil.
You know what I do with the chili flakes? I have this huge bottle. And then I put all the chili flakes inside. I remove them from the sachet. And then, sa dami ng, kung malakas kayong order sa Yellow Cab, mapupuno mo yung jar in like a month.
We always ask for takeout for the chili oil. Chili oil naman
chili
yung
oil
gusto
is
in Chinese,
amazing.
pag Chinese. So, yun, parang, tapos pupunuin mo yun.
So see, so yung baha problem, it really is more tricky than the transportation problem because although sa transportation problem, it's
I
the
think
funding. Yun yung problema, it's the funding. But yeah, can you imagine, Edsa, if 4 lanes na siya, yung taas ng 4 lanes are all trains,
Yeah.
and they separate sa magkabilang dulo? That'd be amazing. That would be a big step in helping commuters in Metro Manila. And ito pa, if you take those trains to the provinces, they don't have to rent in Manila to work in Manila.
Actually, that's the one.
They can live in Subic, they can live in Tagaytay and work in Manila because it gets them to where they want to go in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It's exciting. It's an exciting concept. And the baha problem kasi, ang problem sa baha kasi, yung transportation problem, you can still go home. Yeah, it takes you more time, but makaka-uwi ka. But the baha problem, how can you come home?
Oo nga.
You don't leave the house.
Oo nga.
So that's the problem. The baha problem is more urgent now.
And it's depressing kasi parang
And yun nga, isa
we're
sa mga
supposed to be in this civilization na advanced na it's 2018.
And then factors of the baha problem starts with digging sewage. Kasi apparently most of our sewages can only fit 2 people na nakadapa. when dapat ang sewage can fit me nang nakaganto.
Ninja Turtles nga, 'di ba?
6 feet,
Nagtatakbuhan sila doon.
6 feet diameter, pero apparently ours is like that until now. So you start with that. And then second, paano siya hindi magbabara? So single-use plastic.
Yeah.
Single-use plastic. We need to fight against single-use plastic. Tax them more.
Well, actually,
Tax
and
them
also there's this movement called the zero waste.
Ay, ito pa pala. Companies who make shampoos, wouldn't it be amazing if for a bigger, instead of selling sachets, which they're saying na it's cheaper. Actually, it's not cheaper to buy a sachet. It's not cheaper. Do the math. Even if you're in high school or in grade school, compute how many sachets you finish in a week.
Ilang ml.
And then ilang ml yon. And then i-compute nyo siya. But companies don't say this.
Yes.
What they should do is that dapat lesser yung price ng big bottle. Right? Now you should, if you're buying more, you should pay less. Because it's actually more stuff. But imagine, how much does it cost a company to make sachets more than a bottle?
Oo nga.
Mas maraming effort that goes into the sachet, right?
And also, it's not just plastic eh. Meron pang mga linings na parang aluminum pa yung...
And we sachet
Diba?
everything. Can you imagine even deodorant now naka-sachet?
Oo nga.
Who would want to touch that? Pati deodorant naka-sachet? Grabe.
Pati nga yung mga di ba? Parang mga
Pati
cooking
shoe
oil,
polishes.
parang gano'n, di ba?
My gosh. Guys, does we wonder why may baha? Come on, we can do this. Come on, we can do this. We're a very intelligent group of people. Filipinos are one of the best, so we can do this.
Kasi parang there's this mentality rin na we live in the present. Diba?
Yeah.
So, parang there's no looking forward.
We like that in the concept of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of the Now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the context of day-to-day existence, that's actually bad.
Yeah, actually. Parang you need to,
bad.
parang... And if you just live in the present constantly, parang you don't plan ahead.
You live in the present. It works for you as a human being to live in the present if you're missing out the important things that makes a person happy, which is the day-to-day existence, spending time with your family, spending time with your wife, your loved ones, quality time, or even being on the phone with someone instead of just ignoring them. Or your friends, or being just a presence for your friends.
Or the aspect that, making use of what you have right now.
But in the context of mantika na one sachet for
diba?
a day,
Oo, diba?
effort pa yan. Diba? So, and we start with education, no?
Well, it's also, maybe that's a factor then, and that kind of mentality, the sachet culture. Kasi parang hindi naman uso sa US yung mga sachet din.
Yeah, you know what I hate?
Mm-hmm.
Even when I was young, I love my teachers. Every educator who has educated me, I love them to bits, and I thank them for everything. But I did not believe it when they said, pag kumakain kayo ng 3 beses sa isang araw, maswerte kayo. I did not believe that.
One bit.
Even when I was young, I never believed that.
Okay, why?
Because I know man was meant for more.
Yeah.
We were meant for more. We were, the best thing about growing up reading the Bible. The thing that
So you're religious.
I grew up Roman Catholic.
Okay.
Although I wouldn't say that I'm a hardcore Catholic now. I still remember one lesson that I learned from the Bible that God created man, and these are not the exact words, but I got from all my time in Catholic school in grade school and living in the choir. I mean, basically living my life inside the choir, is God. You were created by God with a blueprint, and the blueprint is abundance. That whatever your mind can conceive, you can achieve it. You can achieve it with the grace of God. That's why may mga songs from church, Amazing Grace. It's abundance, abundance. Whether abundance of happiness, abundance of health, abundance of money or friends.
Yes.
It's abundance.
Of happiness.
You can have it. You can have it. There is nothing in the Bible that said you cannot.
That you should suffer.
Yeah, that you should suffer. And that it said there that your suffering is valuable to God if you are suffering. But that's not His intention for you.
Yeah.
That was never His intention. He did not create you for that. So anyway, I did not believe my teacher. And they said na, pag kumakain ka 3 beses isang araw, maswerte kayo. I don't believe that.
That's settling mentality.
Yeah, ang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, so John, remember that. You heard that. You hate it, right? So remember, work hard. Because hindi ka lang dapat kakain sa 3 beses isang araw. What I thought, what should happen was, you'll have more time to live life. You'll have the capacity to see God's creation. You'll have the capacity to help others. So if you're just eating 3 times a day and then that's all you can afford, how can you help others?
Yeah.
Right?
True.
How can you help others?
I think there's this culture then kasi. This is a psychological part of the discussion naman. And that a lot of people are trained to trained na parang if you get some more to yourself, you are somehow parang you don't deserve that. That you parang that's why I think this is the reason why there are people who settle parang it's not they can't see themselves as somebody na basically they think they don't deserve to get the best things in life.
Against si Oprah dyan. Sorry, I belong to the
nga.
Church of Oprah
Yeah,
Winfrey. Against si Oprah dyan. No, you are enough.
Yes.
Worthiness. You have to be worthy.
Yeah.
Some people kasi ganito ha. Some people, I mean, again, quoting Oprah, some people say, there is a big difference daw between thinking that you deserve love and knowing that you are worthy of love.
Yes.
When you are worthy of something, you know it's yours. It's for you. It's your inheritance. Because you are born with a heart, so you are worthy of love. But if you say you think that you deserve love, that's something parang it's like
entitlement na.
Yeah, it's like entitlement that I deserve it. It should come. This wala siyang alam mo yun, it's just gonna drop and then I'm hindi yun That's not the proper frequency. You have to be worthy of something because it is your inheritance, because you're alive.
Yeah.
Because you are more than enough. And people who have believed that they are not enough or have or in a frequency of not being worthy or that feeling of unworthiness, that's the cause of other people's pain. That's the cause of materialism. That's the
and
cause
personal
of
pain as
excess
well.
and stealing and cheating. Because in your mind, you think you're unworthy. You're unworthy of your spouse. You're unworthy of your success. You're unworthy of your. That's why your mind is not giving you the kind of endorphins that your body is supposed to have, because whenever you feel blessed, you know why? Because it's the ego. It's the ego. The ego mind will not allow you to be happy. It will tell you you shouldn't be contented with this. You deserve more than this. And at the same time, it will tell you you're not enough.
It's
so in both ways, which pull you either too high or too low, both don't allow you to be happy. And it's it's your ego mind, and you should know when it's talking to you. You should know when it's nagmumubulo sa'yo like the devil. Yeah, so it's mostly the ego mind.
Kasi we are syempre everybody wants the best for themselves, diba? Pero somehow one way or another we got conditioned maybe by our parents that maybe siguro isang cause dito is nung bata ka parang you want a toy tapos hindi ka binibigay, hindi ka binili kasi.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that the opposing poles of our society, you have a sector of our society that were spoiled rotten by their parents, made to believe they're gods on earth, and that they can do anything with the power that they have. At the same time, you have this group of people that were so preconditioned that they don't deserve anything, that they should be thankful for what they have, that
given.
they don't demand anything anymore. And these two forces creates a great imbalance, because these continue to suffer, and then these continue a life of uncontentment, because they can have a lot already, but they're not contented. They don't stop acquiring and acquiring and acquiring and acquiring.
I think ano rin siya parang kung it manifests din kasi I've seen a lot in many ways. I've seen many artists na magaling na pero they can't even accept. Everybody else is saying, dude, you are the shit, diba? Pero they always put themselves down, diba? Parang they can't accept that, wow, they even though they earned it, They can't even say it with a straight face that yes, I actually made myself na magaling ako, 'di ba? Parang to them admitting to that is like what I said earlier, parang I don't deserve that kind of accolade kasi I am conditioned na ganito lang dapat.
You know,
I don't deserve the best
my
things.
theory about those. I had to get rid of that because that's still the ego mind. Thinking that you are not deserving of any kind of respect is also your ego not letting you become happy because you think, in order for you to have respect, you need to earn it more. You need to deserve it more. Which means if you think of yourself that way, then you think of other people that way. That you need to reach a certain amount of fame, of you have to prove yourself, you have to reach a certain amount of level to be able to deserve that kind of respect.
Yes.
So if you are like that on yourself, then you are like that to other people. I mean, when you're thinking of other people, and that's your ego talking. You believe that you deserve respect because you believe that someone who just started in the industry deserves it as much as you do. As much as you do. And if you really believe that, then you would respect that person the same way you should be respected, even though accolade and all. Because artists are all equal. Iba-iba lang tayo ng path because some of us started before the others.
Well, equal.
But we all deserve respect. And it's the ego mind that you say some people are too humble. But maybe, I hope it's really humility because there is also such a thing as false humility. There's also such a thing as false humility. Yeah.
Diba?
Or false humility.
Yeah.
Na they're putting on an act na, no. Just say thank you.
Oh nga eh, di ba?
Just
sometimes it's annoying. Dude.
For example, when I judge pageants or young designers competitions, and then I get introduced, and then they say, "Oh, you're the Britain's top designer. Wow, it's amazing to meet you." Before the old me with the ego who thinks that you deserve a certain level of a certain level. You reach a certain level before you are supposed to have respect. Would have said, "No, it's nothing." Oh, but the me that had to get rid of the ego mind, I just say thank you. Now, how can I help? Because you asked me here to judge something, so how can I help? So the way to get rid of the ego mind, the evil things that your ego mind is telling you, is to always concept or operate in the idea of service. Always ask yourself that you are blessed, and because your choices are half chance, so you're very blessed with everything that you get or you got in the past. But also know that with that kind of privilege and respect, you should be able to return a certain amount of service.
Yes.
So that's in a way, killing the ego mind, but you're in the concept of, so how can I help you?
Yeah.
So you invited me here for something, so how can I help? How can I serve? Yeah.
Well, there's also on a different note naman, it's also parang you should also give yourself I don't know, credit because you hindi ka naman gagaling kung if you didn't do the work.
Yeah, actually,
diba? Parang
yeah, that's very true. And to anyone who's reading,
you credit it to your experience.
Yeah,
it's not you.
and to anyone who's listening to
effort.
it. Yeah, when people ask me na parang, but for example, someone is telling me na, are you proud of all the awards that you got? Sabi ko, hindi. I'm more proud that I'm still a designer.
Yun.
After 10 years.
Diba?
That's the
Kasi
thing
you paid
that
the
I'm
dues.
more proud of because for you to be able to live a creative life in this cynical environment and highly competitive environment, if you're still an artist, a singer, a songwriter, a dancer, a designer, after a decade, you deserve a lot of respect.
Yes.
Because so many have come and so many has left us. So many has returned to their corporate jobs.
Yes.
And we're very blessed and lucky that we still get to do this, what we love.
Yes.
And get paid for it.
And pag kasi, if you reach that kind of level, talent-wise and also your longevity ng career mo, that means you did something right.
Yeah.
And you can't
Every day.
you can't,
You always listen to your conscience, and yeah, you're trustworthy.
if you're gonna diminish that to especially when somebody's asking you, your message would be parang hindi, this just happens for nothing, because of nothing.
And
The,
also
the
this,
hard
some,
work was disregarded.
yeah, also here, I don't know if you've met a person like this. Some people love to compare themselves with others.
Yes.
Na parang, hindi ako ganung level. Ba't
Oo.
anong level ba yun?
Oo nga. Well,
Hindi
the
pa ako ganung
comparison
level.
is the
Anong level
thief
ba
of
yun?
joy.
What
Diba?
level, what level do you have to be
Oo nga,
to
actually.
gain respect?
And when are you gonna reach that level anyway? Diba? Kasi that's what I
Yeah.
say to people parang we all have our idols. Pero at one point or another, you have to reach that you need to promote yourself. Kasi nobody's gonna promote you. Diba? Nobody, kasi that kind of hierarchy, you just establish for yourself Wala naman talagang, this is the international standard for hierarchy of artists, designers, whatsoever. So, those are your personal preferences. Pero sometimes you need to admit, parang, kasi, like I said, people act like that because they don't think they deserve to be good things.
And then you see naman on the opposite spectrum naman some people who think they're all that.
Yeah.
And then and then you wanna tell them naman na parang easy ka lang.
Oo nga, di ba?
Easy ka lang. And you don't, kaya nga sabi ko sa'yo when we started the show, I don't believe my own hype. If you believe your own hype, you're a fool. You're a fool. Accept the greater the greatest knowledge of all. Your choices are half chance.
Yeah. Well, Carlo Vergara said when he was here, sabi niya parang, so what would you say to other aspiring artists na asking how to make a living out of comics? Parang his reply was, ano ba yan? Parang make a living na agad. 'Di ba? Magano ka muna. Basically pay the dues and work. Prove yourself first. Diba? You can't just create something and
Hi Carlo Vergara, if you're listening.
Yes. Hi Carlo.
Asan yung reissue, yung new edition ng niya ng Jaja Zaturna?
Oh yes, I have here. Hindi ko napapirmahan sa kanya, sayang.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
I have the first edition of this, of the Jaja Zaturna. And Carlo said he did not remember me when I was I was at the launch of the play of Jaja Zaturna in CCP, and I had him sign my copy. He doesn't remember, of course.
Yeah, he has other books too.
Yeah, he's Carlo
Plugging
Vergara.
Carlo Vergara.
Ito pala ibang books. And let's plug it. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get my hands on these. New stories to, no?
Yeah.
Sa Kalakhang, Maynila. Okay.
He's working on the third book now. The third installment of.
And thank you, Carlo, for having Jaja Zaturna wear a John Herrera.
Oh yeah.
Sa last post mo. I love it. I love that illustration.
Ay, nag-hi si Glacy Rica Blanco.
Hi, Glacy!
And Maria Annalyn.
Hello. Okay, so what have we've covered so many things. So we've been
nga.
talking for 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, diba?
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's what time is it? 7:02.
Oh my
man.
goodness. I'm so sorry, my darlings. We've had so much fun chatting about stuff.
Well, I think we're kind of the same.
I hope
We
di
have
kayo
lots of.
napagod ba sila sa atin?
Well,
I hope di kayo napagod.
What I'm gonna do is this is recorded, by the way, so I'm gonna edit the select clips and upload it separately.
Okay.
So para hindi naman ilang hours yan.
Yes.
2.5 hours. Diba?
Okay, so we can promote the rest.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
invite everyone
We'll
again.
make it 1 hour na lang, no?
Hindi. Yung iba kasi maybe 10 minutes. Yung...
Well, actually, I asked my friend one time kasi nag-podcast ako sa London Fashion Week when we were doing the Go See, yung model casting. And then I said, I think I talked for 3 hours. Sabi ko, hindi ka ba napagod? Sabi niya, no, John, I just have it in the background. Pagdating ko sa house, while I'm doing the dishes, while I'm cooking, it's nice lang to be in the background and you just talking randomly. It's not like I was watching you, like, I was waiting for whatever it is that comes out of your mouth. So.
Yeah. That's what got me hooked into podcasting.
Podcast. So you can do something else.
Yes,
Okay.
and I draw. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a movie playing,
Mm-hmm.
sayang yung mga images kasi you can't look at it while drawing eh. So, and then I discovered these, first yung mga documentaries, and then I saw, may podcasts pala. And I didn't even know. Maybe you should try watching
Okay.
the, just have it in your
I'll
background.
actually I'll when I get home later or tomorrow I'll watch your interview with Carlo Vergara.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan. I'm just gonna say it. I'm really a big fan. I
Yeah,
mean,
me too,
and
me
meeting the guy in person a few years ago, and then how grounded he is, and how the ego was not there actually.
Yeah.
It was
He sat
very-
right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
The ego wasn't there, and I've been a fan of Jaja. Me and my twin brother, my late twin brother, he's the one who introduced Jaja Zaturna to me.
Really?
And I saw the play, and I was so impressed meeting him.
Carlo Vergara is one of the. I am very proud to have him as my first guest. I think he is the best. Probably, I would say the best example of somebody from the comics industry that made himself relevant, not just to pop culture.
And
Diba?
I don't remember seeing. Actually, I don't remember that. What amazed me when I first got my hands on Joshua Saturno was how original it was, and how it didn't try to be something foreign. It was just it was so real, and it spoke its own language, and because we all know, diba, na when I was I love comics eh. So when I was in high school, grade school, we did Tagalog versions of Marvel and DC comics. Ano mo ba yan? Did
Yeah.
you hear? Yeah. And I remembered I got hooked on this tinagalog natin. So parang hindi siya original, right? I was like, tinanggal yung mga, and then they sold it cheap sa mga, and I was hooked
yung mga comics
I
na.
was hooked on Quasar. Alam mo yun?
Ay,
Quasar.
hindi
Which is
masyado.
a Marvel intergalactic superhero. And I remembered I was in grade 4, grade 5. And kasi sa back page ng comics,
May mga letters pa.
lumalabas yung sketches.
Yeah, okay.
I got my sketch published there.
Wow!
Isa ako sa mga batang nag-sketch and then submitted, and it was published dun sa, kasi it was under a Filipino,
Okay.
black and white to black and white
Talaga?
na basically they got, this was in the early 90s, and then they started buying the rights to Marvel and DC comics, and they reprinted it in black and white cheap paper,
Yeah,
which is our comics paper, and then yung mga bubbles, Tagalog yung lumalabas. So that's how I mean, meron
I've
silang,
seen those.
yeah, meron silang X-Men, meron silang X-Factor, meron silang, and then I got hooked on Quasar nga, and then that's my first proud moment kasi I showed it to my best friend, Albert Concepcion, in grade 5, and I saw him, I told him, my sketch was published on this local comic book. Anyway, so, and then a few years later, I saw Joshua Saturna, something so original and something that spoke its own language and had its own story and didn't try, even made fun of itself, right?
And it's Filipino. It's important. It's one thing that I say about this podcast. It's important that we Filipinos hear something not sabaw from fellow Filipinos. Kasi there are lots of great content in YouTube, in everywhere, in Netflix, but they're not Filipinos eh.
Not Filipino, yeah.
Parang iba pag nakita when they hear you talking about like kanina yung emotions and dealing with self-doubts, diba? Parang there's lots of content like that in YouTube, pero not very rarely from people.
Yeah, and we listen more to negative things. We click. Diba? Nakita ko rin may study sa Facebook na people click on stories that are negative more than positive. Because, you know Oscar Wilde? Or have you heard of Oscar Wilde?
Maybe.
Yeah, people would rather commiserate with your misery than celebrate your success.
Yeah.
Yun ang sabi ni Oscar Wilde. And
Well,
I believe that.
yes.
We'd rather go to the dark side than focus on something inspiring.
Even with your friends, di ba? So, I don't know.
But that can change, and it starts from people talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why when I talk about the train, I say it with so
Passion.
much passion, but the passion is towards it getting done, and I'm excited for it to get done because it can be done and it will be done. Because otherwise, if I just give up, I might as well just die. Kasi I've stopped having faith in my people. So I don't believe that we can't conquer those two things, transportation and baha. I don't believe that we can. We cannot. I believe we can, and we
Yes.
will. And it starts by talking about it.
Yeah. Iba yung well, this is, I think a lot of people got social media wrong eh. Parang using it for the wrong things.
People would, guys.
But,
Even your friends, di kayo kaya mag-rant all the time, right?
Oo nga
What
eh.
more your Facebook friends?
diba? Parang,
Dami na sa rant.
pero,
Just do shit.
you see, there are people talaga na parang hindi naman sila celebrities, hindi, pero, somehow, ang daming people gravitate to their posts. Tapos, pero most of the time, sila yung mga ranters eh, di ba? Parang,
Oh no, that's the get, or sometimes they start, anyway, yeah, kaya nyo yan. Kasi, baka bago na namang topic eh, but, kaya yan, it can be done. It can be done, and this country can conquer its worst enemies. The worst enemies are the ideas. The ideas that we can't do it.
yes.
The ideas that it
Or the
can't
lack
be
of-
done. The ideas that it can't be done because a train or a floodway system or the concept of single-use plastic will take more than a 4-year term to accomplish.
It sounds
And
so,
that idea should be considered ludicrous. We have to consider that a crazy idea because right now that's the realistic approach, but no, we have to change it. We have to start by talking about it and then believing it. If you say something more than 10 times, you start to believe it. So
Yeah.
right now, a lot of people are listening to this and thinking
We
that,
can't
that
do-
John is crazy. We can't conquer the Baha and we can't conquer the transportation problem. Just keep saying it, even if you're saying it like the way you're saying it now, very negatively.
Power
It can't
of
be done.
attraction.
Yeah, but just say it every day. Get back to me in a month if you don't believe it anymore.
Yeah, and it's also, I remember this advice that I heard before. Parang you can connect this eh. Parang what is ang tanong niya is, what is the primary reason why people remain poor? So the answer, well, there are several answers, but the first one is that it never occurred to them that they can stop being poor. So if you can't even get yourself to
Believe,
to even entertain the idea
to
that you
entertain
can,
the idea,
then
yeah.
not even
It
believe
never
yet,
occurred
eh,
to them.
diba?
It never occurred to them. That's true.
That
It never occurred to
diba?
them,
It
yeah.
never occurred.
And it's not just about financially being poor. It's also about being depraved of personality. If you can't conquer a weight problem, you can't find your happiness. Somehow you can't change careers. I have a friend who came to me a few days ago and told me, I don't know how to change careers. It's too late for me. And I'm like, why? Are you in slavery? I think I think America's abolished slavery a long time ago. You have the choice and
Yes.
the right and the capacity. You're not even in a wheelchair.
Yeah, what are you saying? diba?
Yeah, and you have a degree, and you can go and find your happiness and stop. Because sabi ko, if you don't start now, the first baby step, I'll see you in 2 years, and then you'll have the same sentiment. So,
Or at least plant that idea.
so nagulat siya. He wanted someone to commiserate, and sabi ko, I have good news for you. Sabi niya, what? If you haven't heard, you're not under slavery, and nor are you nor are you
disabled person.
And we've seen disabled people achieve,
Yes.
conquer great heights.
Yeah, and
Why can't you?
And people way more underprivileged than most
Way more
people, diba?
underprivileged.
Ang dami,
So,
ang dami.
so yeah, yan ang, yeah, sabi mo nga, have you read the book, The Secret?
No. Pero I've heard about it.
It's a very simple, I can sum it up in one sentence.
Law of attraction, basically.
Law of attraction. Pero if you want to make it more concrete, more tactile, more tangible, your thoughts become things.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that I got from that book. Your thoughts become things, whether positive or negative. And then recently sinabi ni Oprah sa kanyang tweet na you do not become what you want. You become what you believe.
True.
So you can want, and then meron isang story dun sa The Secret that stuck with me. There are two kinds of dreamers. May isang dreamer who said, I want to have a car. And then may isang dreamer, sabi niya, I want to have a car. So, nung kumuha siya ng apartment, nag-apply siya, naghanap siya ng apartment, ang kinuha niya may parking.
Okay.
Pero wala pa siyang car. So, those are two kinds of believers. The first kind of believer wished for something, dreamer wished for something, I want to have a car, but didn't do anything about it. But the second one wanted a car, dreamed and wished for a car, but prepared his life for the coming of the car.
Oo.
So we do not become what we want. We become what we believe.
Yeah, I remember this. This is not exactly pero I remember one of my friends, parang he didn't have money before, so gusto niyang bagong labas yung PlayStation 2 pa lang nun. So parang hindi niya wala siyang
millennials sleep.
So wala siyang pera pambili nun, pero may pera siya pambili ng isang CD, ng isang game. So bumili siya ng isang game. So sabi niya every night daw malalaro din kita ng araw.
It's amazing.
Actually,
that's an amazing story.
Siya, diba?
That's an amazing story.
Diba?
And I have a similar story like that. When I was 23, at 23, I went to Singapore. For the first time, it was the first time I visited my sister. My sister has been working in Singapore for how many years, so I visited her. And then, I was with my twin brother. At the time, we were having fun, and then, she both gave us money to shop. Parang may isa kaming day of shopping. I remember my brother bought clothes, shoes, stuff like that, accessories, a watch, ganyan. And then, tinanong ko na sister ko, what did you buy? Kasi naghiwalay kami eh. I mean, kaming dalawa lang nung twin ko yung nag-shopping. Tapos pag-uwi namin, ang dala ko, steam iron, na Philips,
okay.
And then, mga 20 na 3 dozens ng IKEA hangers.
Okay.
Na white. Tapos sabi niya, ba't yun ang binili mo? Sabi ko, kasi kailangan ko to pag natayo na yung shop ko. Pag natayo na yung shop ko. So, yeah. I'm not gonna tell you when ko natayo yung shop, yung aking studio or yung first atelier ko. But it doesn't matter because at 23, it waited a couple of years pa. But the idea na yung gaya na sinabi mo sa friend mo, wala pang atelier, hindi ko hinintay yung atelier na mabuo for me to buy stuff for the atelier. And the same with your friend. Wala pa siyang PS.
Podcast. Diba? Parang, okay, parang I got that mic. So, parang, it planted the seed there. I could use this. I got that audio interface. Kasi I wanted to do dubbing, voiceovers to videos. Yun ang first plan is to create drawing videos. And then I already have this mic, and then I got that.
You wanted to do the how-to?
Yeah.
Do you have?
Yes, a few.
On YouTube?
And my Facebook channel, and my Facebook page.
I love watching those.
Yeah, those are, I had last year's October. I drew mga aswang, mythological creatures. So yun. So maybe you'd enjoy it.
I will. I love watching how-tos.
They have I have YouTube videos din.
Okay.
Yung kompleto nasa YouTube, yung mga teasers nasa ano. So anyway, so when I started when I got that and that one,
This gorgeous mic.
oh, diba, that
Lakas maka
microphone.
Sam Smith.
So pagka and I really love that mic. It's the Elvis mic. So
Okay.
that's why I got a new one, beefing up the podcast. So
Wait, this one.
this one is I just got this yesterday.
It's the same brand ba?
Yes, the same. This is just a limited edition kasi kaya siya black. Pero that's the classic design.
Yes, and I love that you gave this to me. Grabe yun.
Sam Smith.
Sam
diba?
Smith. I love you, Sam Smith.
So pag yun, when I got those and then eventually I got this camera. It's the GoPro knockoff na ano tapos
Where is it?
one of
Wow, ang dami mong Logitech here. Wow. So, how many? Ang galing mo nga, no? Ang galing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a 3-camera setup. Oh
and
my
4.
gosh.
Actually 4,
Ah,
but
where's the other one?
We're just using 3 right now. Sometimes kasi may dalawa yung guests.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I need another.
Can we talk about those cameras later, ha?
Sure.
Kasi that's also a dream of mine.
Let's talk about that now.
Sige. Okay. Is this good for taking fashion shows? Hindi.
Fashion shows, if you want to live stream it, I think it's good enough.
Okay, so that's what I dream eh. Kasi I've
What kind of fashion show are you gonna?
like one of my shows kasi I want the 3-camera setup for a show. Kasi what we have now are just usually 1-camera setup nasa front. And I watch these shows from Paris and in London na you have an aerial, bird's eye view. You have like in front and you have at the side.
Yeah.
For me, those are the best fashion shows to watch.
Yes.
Because you see angles of the dress and it's more interactive. It's like you're in there. It's like you're watching the show yourself. So yeah, that's my dream to do shows with the 3-camera setup.
If it is for what do you call this? For internet, for streaming, these are good enough. Although you can beef it up, you can do mirrorless cameras, pero obviously
What do you mean mirrorless? Sorry.
it's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more expensive. So these
What do you mean mirrorless?
the new yung DSLR, 'di ba? So the DSLR kaya siya bulky is because meron siyang mga mirrors sa loob. So the mirrorless tinanggal na 'yon, naging digital na yung kaya mas maliit.
Oh,
Kaya
gosh.
mukhang parang regular point and shoot cameras na lang yung mga
What brand are these?
every brand, Nikon, Sony.
Shucks, technology.
Yeah,
Shit.
so pero these Logitech webcams, these are just webcams. They yung mirrorless nga lang, you need other contraptions. And if you're gonna use it for fashion shows, your problem is gonna be the cables. Ang haba nun. Pero so I don't know where you can get long cables. But I'm sure there would be providers.
But you know what I know? Anyway, I'll talk to you later about this. I can't talk this right now kasi baka may mauna sa akin.
Okay.
Mas may mga mayayamang fashion designers yung baka kahit nakawin yung idea ko. Mauna dapat ako.
Oh.
Kasi I know exactly. Anyway, I love to watch nga kasi stuff.
Yeah.
If we say it here, then it's up for grabs.
No, they're gonna procrastinate. They always do.
Oh my gosh. No, some are not. Or madaming na magaling ngayon.
Talaga?
Grabe. I mean, they're my idols. They're my idols. Yung mga fashion designers now who think like big fashion houses, man. They're amazing. They're the masters of social media. They're the kings of PR and promotion. And they don't know it. I celebrate them and I admire them, and I'm actually learning from them.
Yeah,
I'm learning from
each
them.
other.
They're amazing. They're amazing. They put even some fashion houses to shade. Sobrang galing. And they're Filipinos, and they're amazing.
Who are your contemporaries? May I just ask?
Contemporaries, Ino Soto.
Kasi para if you ask me, mga kilala kong Pinoy fashion designers, yun, Ino Soto, yung Patis.
Yan, yung mga kabatch ko yan. Yan. Mga
Patis
kabatch ko
Tesoro.
yan. Yan, mga kabatch ko yan. Frederick
Louvier-
Peralta,
Louvier-
Rahul Laurel.
I don't know Peralta.
Rahul
I
Laurel.
don't-
But anyway, I just mentioned to you my idols. So those are my idols.
Okay.
Actually, my designer friends right now who I am so proud of, and I watch their every move, and I learn from them because I admire them so much. Francis Libiran, he's such a
I
darling.
heard
He's
that.
such an
I heard
amazing
him.
guy.
About him.
And then I follow their every move because I learn from it, and I wonder how I can use their strategy for my strategy. Also, I'm always on the Instagram of Mark Bumgarner, Michael Leyva, Rahul Laurel, of course, Gary Santiago, Michael Cinco,
Wow.
Fern One, these amazing designers who have mastered not just their craft, but in believing in their brand and selling their brand and promoting their own brand. And they didn't even have to hire an expensive PR. They have the brains to do it, and they're masters of their craft. So
May mga ganun talaga, no?
I follow them. I celebrate them. I admire them, and I follow them.
No, I remember when I met you dun sa Agila, di ba? Parang I asked you kung what does it take for you para ma-feature dun sa mga Hollywood red carpet, di ba? So parang ano
Let's
siya.
ask Michael Cinco. Grabe si Michael Cinco. Alam mo yun? But I think he's dressing up a lot of Hollywood people because he's proven himself in that arena, because it's not easy to do a show abroad. And the shows that he has mounted are way more attended, way more influential than the ones I've mounted. So I'm still learning, and he's been doing it for over a decade. So he's proven himself in that arena. That's why he dresses people like J-Lo, Beyonce.
Oh, really? Wow.
And now, Chris in Crazy Rich Asians, and
yeah.
Victoria Swarovski's wedding gown, and Miss Universe, Miss Universe winners. And he's proven himself in that arena. I'm very far off in Tagalog. Madami pa akong kakainin bigas, but I welcome it. I welcome it. I connected myself to my dream, and it is in the same path as his dream, and I connected myself to that cable already. So I'm on that frequency already. So I will continue to celebrate him until he gets tired and he gets to celebrate me. I mean, people like that. Not just him, but Fern, who else? So many Filipino designers who are making waves abroad.
So he was in Crazy Rich Asians?
Si Chris Aquino wearing Michael Cinco.
Okay. So have you seen the movie?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting for someone to ask me out on a date.
Oh. Are you
Yeah.
listening? Are you listening?
Are you listening to me? Yeah, ask me out. Huwag ka naman
Yeah.
hiya. I'm kidding. Yeah. Hindi, my friends kasi saw it 2 days ago without asking me. Kasi I fell asleep. Ba't di niyo ako ginising? Kainis kayo. But,
Malapit ka
Now,
pa naman
ngayon
dun
naghahanap
sa-
ako ng kasama. Reset.
Sayang, mapag-uusapan sana natin.
You've seen it naman?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's funny daw. It's fun.
It's fun. It's fun.
And a lot of my friends love the mahjong scene daw.
Talaga? Well, it is one of the great scenes. I don't know why they love it, pero I have a good guess why. Pero it's
Because mahjong is making a comeback.
really?
With gay people of my generation.
Really?
I know.
So it's the new poker?
I think. And I still have to learn it. And
Ako din, hindi ko natuto.
some of my friends play it already, and I'm like, ba't di niyo ako tinuruan? But anyway, because I'm always, I think there's one time that they all started to do it while I was in London. So, yeah, I'm talking to you, Jingay and F and Job. Di niyo ako tinuruan mahjong.
Natatawa ako dun sa, there are reactions about the movie. Yung mga, and a lot of those who react are the Filipino American, the Asian Americans
really?
in the US. Parang they're saying
Why?
na, some of them are saying na parang, it's not ano daw, hindi naman ito yung majority parang
yeah.
there are just some outlets that
Sige, tell me the worst things. Kasi I'm not in the
well,
loop.
it's basically parang
And then let's put it in context.
cultural na parang I don't you know the current climate in the US yung mga SJWs ganun. So may siguro yung mga extreme na parang the Asians are acting like black people daw yung mga ganun. So and they also criticize that yung they also criticize yung kasi the premise is the girl is not accepted to be a part of the guy's family because
she doesn't come from money.
But also it's money is just not just it's not the only factor. It's also the heritage, the being Chinese and diba? So it's also this one critic is saying na parang it's because it's not Asian culture, it's rich people culture. What? So okay, so there's rich people culture, pero if you're gonna add Chinese culture to that, it's 10 times worse, di ba? Kasi
but guys, anyway, but that's what they do. I mean, to some people, kasi this is their jobs, right?
Yeah.
And they have to write about it. And what is my opinion? I think, is it more rich people culture or is it more Asian culture? What do you think?
Well, I think it's both. Kasi as I've observed,
or is
especially
it about a family that values tradition?
Yeah, it's both. Well, it's actually more on the.
Kasi there's when you say it's an Asian thing, I mean not all Asians are pro tradition.
Yeah, well, the Filipinos are a little bit more lenient, I suppose.
Right? I mean,
we've
I mean, not a lot of Asian people are into tradition.
I have Pinoy Chinese friends that are not.
But is it great fun? Oh, sige, let's talk about
the
when you saw
positives
the film. Yeah, is it great fun? Did you have fun?
I had.
Is it
fun.
funny?
It's funny. Yeah, Michelle Yeoh is awesome.
Exquisite.
It's her character for me is not that complicated. It's just the snobby mom, basically. Pero
kasi for example,
when she played it,
this is what you call for a movie to work. Like you can't treat this movie as a documentary. I think that's the problem with some people who are netizens. And they're on their keyboard typing like this is like an outrage. This is not a documentary, guys. This highlights an over-exaggerated version of an Asian family. And it can exist, but it doesn't mean all Asian families are like this. But also, do you remember this movie The Devil Wears Prada, about the fashion industry?
Yeah.
And it also is a heightened reality.
Stereotype.
A stereotype or an over-exaggeration. Because if you look at the documentary of Vogue, first of all, Vogue doesn't look that beautiful in the movie The Devil Wears Prada. Vogue is messy. It's a magazine, for crying out loud. So you don't enter their stock room with lights and beautiful accessories. Kahon. Kahon yan. That's a stock room And it's heightened reality. So you don't see people from the fashion industry going, this is an outrage, because we know it's crazy and it's stupid and it's not at all what it's supposed to be.
It's fiction.
Because sabi pa nila, 'di ba? Yung mga people in the Vogue office dun sa in the movie The Devil Wears Prada, those are supermodels.
Talaga?
Hindi yun staff. That's Karen Elson. That's Giselle Bunchen, yung kasama ni Emily. Those are not people working for the magazines. Those are the ones being photographed by the magazines. Because the real editors are Grace Coddington, the girl with the big hair. Alam mo yun? And then the people who are in the background, the ones who make the editorials happen, they're not size 2 or size 0. That's just like you and me. Edward Enninful is, the people normal like us.
Okay.
We eat. The models don't eat, not the staff. So, ganun din siya.
I think yung isa rin pare is they're very parang they're framing this story on a US setting, it's an American setting. The story happened in Singapore, di ba? It's a parang
Isa lang
masyado
actually
silang
comment.
obsessed sa sa this I don't know what they call this.
I'm gonna say something that is not popular. Oh my gosh.
Oh, sige.
Sana walang magalit sa akin. But I don't think they're that crazy. They got married in their hometown. Not in an era where you have the Bello wedding in the Paris Opera House.
Ah, okay.
And that I mean, I was with Michael Cinco at during the wedding, and he said, the last time I was here, sabi ko, when? It was the Dior fashion show. And I'm like, yeah, and we're here, and this place is booked by a Filipina. Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a crazy rich Asian. I love you, Vicky. Don't baka magalit sa akin, but diba? That's a crazy rich Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 250 people in the Paris inside the opera house, not outside, not on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And the opera house had a red carpet.
How was it?
Welcomed all of us.
How was it?
When people ask me about it, about how the wedding was, I only say one thing. It was like you're dreaming, but you're awake.
Oh?
Never in my wildest dreams, because I've been to Paris twice.
But
Even as a tourist, you cannot enter that part of the opera house. That's for the members. That's for the royalty. That hall where we had the dinner. That's a hall. That housed royalty from all over the world, Princess of Brunei and stuff like that, and that shit. And even as a tourist, you can't enter there. Nor can you. Nasa balcony kami nag-yosi.
Talaga?
Ng opera house.
What kind of balcony is it? Is it parang sa theater? Bagano?
No, balcony is when you go outside.
Ah, okay.
Tapos malaking hall siya, and then there's a hall of mirrors behind you, and then that's the venue of the wedding, and then you're just outside smoking. Kami nila, Tim, we were smoking, and then the people downstairs, they were looking at us, sino to mga to? Are these famous people? Are these celebrities? How come there's a wedding in the opera house? Sino to? Maka queen ng Philippines to. There's thinking na may royalty tayo. Baka royalty to in the Philippines. So,
Wow.
I mean, and then the night before that wedding, we had the cruise. We were on a cruise ship that went, that traveled around the Seine River. Inikot lang niya yung Seine River. From 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Non-stop. Doon yung rehearsal dinner ni Vicky and Hayden. We were all there just drinking champagne, overflowing, and hors d'oeuvres and food. And imagine, you're in a glass bottom yacht. You can go outside and you can stay down there with champagne. And then you're going around Eiffel Tower. Because Seine River goes, diba, Eiffel Tower, Cathedral de Notre Dame, Musée Orsay.
Basically a tour of the city.
Yeah, a tour of the central part of the city, which is the most important part. Just going around that river non-stop. And people were looking at us thinking, who are these people? They're
Talaga?
thinking, these must be either royalty or Hollywood people.
Oh.
Kasi ang dami namin eh. Dun sa rehearsal dinner, there were 150 people in the boat. Sa wedding itself, there were 250 people.
So you're basically saying the wedding in Crazy Rich Asians is meh.
Not impressed.
Meh.
Yeah. Not impressed. Because and I know even the Vicky wouldn't like me speaking about it this much, but how can I? It was like dreaming and you're awake, because there is
I can't even imagine.
I cannot imagine how to top this in my career. How many years before I get to this stage or in my life where I can afford something like that? Or maybe, because these things you see in Valentino documentary or Christian Dior documentary.
It was that intense.
Because it's such a, sabi ko nga sa'yo, the only people who can afford to book that venue, that opera house, that hall of mirrors in the opera house as a venue, is for a fashion show. And these houses have a lot of money. I mean, they're making Dior money, Louis Vuitton money. They can afford it. But
And we got Vicky Bello.
Yeah, and we have a Filipina who was able to do it, and it's unprecedented and it's amazing. it's amazing. Because
You're gonna have a show over there one of these days.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I still dream of that. Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna book that too.
Venue. Yeah. Sana. Pero mauna si Michael Cinco.
So
Nah, but that's crazy rich. That's crazy rich.
now that you've told that story, parang, nga no?
Meh.
Oo nga no? Although it was
Kung nasa
mesmerizing
Singapore
visually.
Garden ka.
Visually, parang...
Gosh. Gosh. I cannot imagine. Yeah, and I was thinking about that. But I'm happy for Crazy Rich Asian. It's not it's not a, what do you call this? It's not a, what do you call that? It's not criticism or anything. It's nothing. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a movie.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's a
movie.
beautiful movie. It's a wonderful story or whatever. But
It's
I haven't seen it yet, but I will.
Yeah. Well, you watch it.
Yeah. Pero kasi but yeah, Crazy Rich.
Great. Yung isa pang nag-review sa YouTube, sabi niya, I saw a lot of rich but not
Crazy.
not a lot of crazy.
Yeah,
But tapos dude, it's crazy rich, not crazy rich.
Not crazy period, no, not crazy period. But that's what sabi ko nga eh. I was because of the term crazy rich. You were expecting for a certain level of
Ostentatiousness.
yung ano pa ba unrealistic spending eh.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's just celebrity wedding lang yan.
I have my siguro my pinakamatinding encounter with a crazy rich person, and not personal pa, pero I got there's this gig, parang I'm teaching kids, and it was in Dasmariñas, the Dasma village. Tapos when I got there, first time na pumunta ako doon. So, nung nag-taxi, hindi pala pwede ang taxi.
Pumasok.
Hindi pwede pumasok. So, doon lang ako sa may gas station.
And then,
Sa may tabi
nagpasundo ka? Pinasundo ka
pinasundo
nila?
ako. So, okay. So, when I syempre, sumakay ako doon sa car.
Their kids' art. Ganun.
Parang it's...
Taught them art?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drawing. So, tapos ngayon, pagpasok ko dun sa, syempre, kita ko EDSA, di ba? Pagpasok ko dun sa Dasma, biglang may mga trees na naka-art na gano'n.
Yeah,
di ba?
I love that.
Pag ano ko sa,
I love
parang nawala ako sa Pilipinas bigla eh.
Napaka-quiet, no?
Diba,
napaka-quiet.
Nasaan ako bigla? Nasa EDSA lang ako eh, 'di ba? Tapos when I saw the houses, mansion after mansion after mansion.
Mga consul houses, ambassadors.
Sabi ko, what? May ganito, just a wall dividing EDSA from that world. 'Di ba? Parang it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the actual house, so okay, ang laki nung house. Naligaw ako talaga. Literally, naligaw ako. Kasi it was, when I asked for the CR, nung bumalik ako, teka, sana? Tapos, basically yun, sobrang ano, and then the food, parang, basta sobrang iba yung pagkain. And I was just there to...
And that's just a normal day for them. It's not even like, there's not even a special occasion. You should see it.
Ang pinaka mind-boggling sa akin, when uuwi na ako, no, tapos na, sabi nung driver, kausap ko yung driver nung nung car. So, sabi niya, ang laki ng... So, doon ako nag-express ng, wow! Grabe pala dito, no? Ganyan. Tapos sabi niya, oo nga, tol, kasi yung house na pinuntahan ko pala is, hindi ko na sasabihin yung name. So,
of course.
So, this powerful guy, tapos, ang sabi niya sa akin, actually, pangatlong bahay na yan eh. Pangatlong bahay na yan na tinayo. Kasi bago pa lang eh. I saw yung mga mukhang bago talaga. So, pangatlo na yan eh. Sabi, okay. Paano pangatlo? Sabi niya, it cost 400 million daw. Tapos sabi niya, umabot ng 400 million kasi yung una niyang pinagawa, more than 100 million pesos worth. Hindi niya nagustuhan. Pinatibag niya. So he demolished the first house. And then the second house that was built after it, hindi niya pa rin nagustuhan.
Oh my goodness.
He demolished it again. So that is the third house and that actual lot. Kaya umabot ng sabi ko, what? Sabi ko,
now that's crazy.
Diba?
No, that's crazy rich.
Diba? Sabi ko, hindi ko alam kung ini-steal niya ako, pero I doubt. I think it's true. So you're just gonna demolish two more than 100 million peso houses. Tapos, grabe. Doon ako, pero if there's one thing that good that happened after that, nakita ko ngayon yung mga dating parang, ay, ang yaman naman itong tropa ko na to. Parang, ay, hindi ka pala mayaman. Anyway.
Tama.
Diba? At least parang I can shoot for hire pala.
Yes.
Diba?
Abundance.
Anyway, so, you want to taste it? We're gonna...
actually, but I can't eat in front of your fans.
Okay.
Maya po. Pagkas ng show.
Okay.
My gosh, we've been talking for 3 hours.
3 hours. Okay, pagbalik mo na lang ulit. Let's have dinner.
Please do invite me again.
It's almost 8.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's almost 8. May 1 minute lang tayo. Pagtapusin natin ng 45. Okay, spills mo na.
Oh, so...
first of all, thank you for having me, Gerald. Thank you for having me here at the Powerful Komiksman podcast.
I'll give you the floor. You want to...
Yes, I want to plug something.
Yes.
Okay, so for my friends in London, if you want to check out our next show, it's going to be on September 16 at Fashion's Finest. It's going to be in the Grand Connaught Rooms in London. And for tickets, please check out our page, our official, John Herrera official on Facebook. We have a link there for the tickets, so you can secure yourself a ticket. And then for the Filipino community in London, we have a bridal show under Moda Filipina. It's gonna be on October 27th at the Marylebone Church in London. And shout out to our producers, Ronnie and Philippine Airlines London. Thank you very much.
And yun. On that note, thank you once again, Mr. John Herrera.
Thank you.
The powerful John Herrera in the podcast. And that's it. Thank you for watching. To those who messaged,
stayed with us for 3 hours.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed. Earl Señeres, man, Dave Scott, if you're still watching.
Hello.
Also,
Thank you.
Amy Rickerford,
Thank you.
Anna,
Thank you.
Anna, my mom.
Hello, Tita.
And Gladys Ronyo, and my batchmate, Ian.
Thank you.
Thank you. Powerful Komiksman
God
Podcast.
bless. Bye.
Bye. Alright.
Yes!
Grabe.